coming right there.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Tactical Tuesday here with the Tactical Rifleman crew. I hope everybody had a great Independence weekend. I know we did here. Holy cow, nobody died. Nobody died. And that's right, that's always bonus. Yeah, I see my mic is spiking just a little bit here. I'm going to dial that down just a tad. All right, good stuff indeed. You guys let me know if you can hear me okay. I got bugs flying around in here. All right, you guys know the deal. We do this live stream every Tuesday. This is a chance for us to interact with you, but also for you to interact with us. Question and answer type stuff. If you're new to our channel, we do a live stream video every Friday. Not a live stream, sorry. We do a premiere video every Friday. It could be a 5-minute long quick shooting tip. It could be a medical video. It could be driving. It could be survival. It could be knife fighting. It could be anything. It could be anything. But anyways, we do that every Friday. We got a new video come out. For example, this Friday's video, if my son can finish editing it in time, is for we're bringing John Striker Myers back on Mac v SOG, but he's talking specifically about the POWs and MIAs from the Vietnam era, specifically the bodies that are still missing that have not been recovered yet. So anyways, it was a great, very fascinating sit down with John Striker Myers, and that's the video that we're working on. We got a great sponsor here tonight, USCCA. You guys, I know you're pretty familiar with them. If you haven't checked out USCCA yet, go do it, but you'll notice in the description underneath the video here, we've got a custom referral link, and just click on it. What that does is it lets them know that you went to their website from watching this live stream, basically. It's a good deal. And, Carl, what is USCCA? Guys, it's understand USCCA is going to give you the education. They're going to give you training, but they're also going to give you that legal support if you ever get involved in that active shooter incident self-defense, right? You defend your family, everything. Everybody talking about internal ballistics, external ballistics, the bullet flying through the air, that terminal ballistics, the bullet going through the body. But understand, guys, if you have to defend your family, that bullet's going right through the target, directly into the jewelry pool. Like it or not, you're going to have to defend yourself in court. So USCCA is going to be USCCA is going to be there to help support you do that. So anyways, they got a bunch of great. What I like about them over some of these other ones is USCCA's got a ton of educational training stuff available online. They've got their whole USCCA Protector Academy. And you get free access to all that stuff signing up. Good stuff indeed. So become that prepared protector that you need to be with a USCCA membership. Good stuff. I actually got myself playing on another video over here, which is funny, watching myself on a screen there. So I just paused that. I got bit right in my back. Anyways, the chat room. You guys are all chilling out, hanging out in the chat room. I understand I don't do the chat room. I don't have time to read all the stuff that's scrolling by. And we call that the asylum for a reason. That's kind of for you guys to hang out, chit-chat. That's fine. I'm not allowed to dry fire on you guys anymore. YouTube loses their minds if we even touch training guns during a live stream. So, and they're just looking for any reason to shut us down. So you want to dry fire on my mug, that's fine. I'd rather you do it on me than on the neighbor's kids. That's one way of looking at it, right? But if you do have a question, you can put that question in the chat room. We can do a super chat if you want. You want to do a super chat for $5 or $200. I don't care. Understand that'll get your comment up on the screen longer, but it really doesn't matter. Honestly, I value everybody's questions. Put your questions, legitimate questions, in the comment section, the chat room there. And what we have is I have moderators all over the planet. Literally, I've got one. I'm sitting here in Kentucky. I've got one in DC. I've got one sitting in Australia. Mama Bear's down in Oz right now. And what they're going to do is they're going to keep you guys PG-13 in the chat room, hopefully, inshallah, God willing. But other than that, if you have legitimate questions, they will send them to Susan, and Susan will text them to me. So that's kind of how I get them screened. I get my questions screened. If you want to be an ass clown and you want to troll the chat room, understand what they're going to do is they're going to put you in a 300-second timeout. They'll put you in timeout. Second offense, you're gone. They'll block you forever, and then you've got to start a new Google account. It's just pain in the ass. Just be polite. Be polite. I've got girls here. I've got children here. I've got soy boys here. I've got a little bit of everything. Everybody's welcome here. That is an incredible cup of coffee. So how do you make an incredible cup of coffee? I don't have a coffee sponsor for tonight. I don't even remember what kind of beans it was I just ground because they're already in the hopper. But this starts off with 6 shots of espresso. I want you to see how big that coffee cup is, guys. That thing's crew served. 6 shots of espresso. You froth the sweet Irish cream. Just a little bit of milk in it to thin it down. Froth that, put it in there, and then just a touch of Hershey's chocolate. Mix that stuff all up. It's about a dessert right there. That's as close to a dessert as you can get. Got to be at least 600 calories. At least. Good stuff. Good stuff. No big deal. I'm all about it. So nobody's got any questions yet. I don't have a problem with that at all. One thing I do want to say is, right, we're watching this on our Tactical Rifleman YouTube channel. We have broke 700,000 subscribers. We have. I think that's awesome. But, right, what we got here? Oh, Susan has sent me our first question. That's cool. That's cool. So anyways, we broke 700,000 subscribers. We've been pushing to do that for a while. Everybody forecasted us breaking 1 million a long time ago. But that was before we pissed off YouTube. That's okay. They're entitled to their opinion also. All right. But no big deal. I ask you guys to support us, though. Click on the ads if you want. Leave comments. Share our videos. And honestly, get the word out there that we try to do educational content. We wrapped up filming a bunch of videos 2 weeks ago, and yeah, I think we've got some good stuff. I've got a bunch of great ones that we didn't have time to film, but that's all right. The big thing was this was more of a training trip for my son. The film crew came down and went over with my son a lot of the sound equipment, camera equipment, stuff like that. And he's really stepped up his game. So now my son can film a lot more great stuff without having to bring the film crew all the way down from New York City. First question right here is from, let's see, come on. GP, Carl, police department looking to switch to suppressed short barrel rifle AR-15s. Do we need to go with a Piston, or is a good direct impingement fine? If you're going to go with a short-barreled rifle with a suppressor, everybody that knows, everybody that's fairly educated on the topic is going to tell you to go with a Piston. If you look back early 2000s, 2005, 2010 timeframe when the varsity team, they wanted to start running suppressors full time, which means they wanted shorter guns. You start going shorter guns because we were running back then. We had these Crane Goddesses 10-inch uppers for our M4s, and they just didn't run. We ended up going with a 10.5-inch LaRue upper, and then fast forward, blah, 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 blah. But at the same time we were doing that, the varsity team came up with, they wanted a reliable gun, and they decided to go Piston. Why? Because we put that suppressor on, it creates more gas, which you need that for, because you got shorter dwell time, all right? But the problem with backing up all that gas in a DI system is it just gums up the gun, and you lose a lot of reliability, you do. So it was a no-brainer for them. They ended up picking the H&K 416, and it's a great gun, served them well. You see a lot of other units looking at that, SEAL Team 6, other units. It's a good gun. It's a good gun. But what makes it a good gun? Because it's made by H&K? No. Honest, H&K's, their quality's okay. But they're not any better than Daniel Defense or Adams Arms or a bunch of these other decent companies. But they were the one that could literally shit it for them right then and there. My reason for saying that, if your police department is looking to get a new gun, don't think I have to go with the H&K Piston gun. You don't. Matter of fact, there's a lot of police departments that are running Adams Arms Pistons. If you look on my rack down bottom, which would be this gun right here. That is my 12.5-inch Piston, and it's a 308 gun, but I actually have them working on a new 5.56 gun for me, and it's going to be Piston so that you guys can run it suppressed or unsuppressed, but we're going for 100% reliability on it. So, if your department is looking to go with a short-barreled rifle, I 100% would recommend you guys go with a Piston for sure. Go with a Piston. The life you save may be your own. All right. Next one is from Incarnate01. What type of scope covers does TR recommend, specifically rimfire and an AR platform? Don't need high-end. When you say scope covers, I could care less. What I mean by that is I do not like rubber band ones. I don't. I specifically like scope covers. I'm trying to find a scope that's got a Butler Creek one on it. I don't like the rubber band ones. Get flip up ones. There's a company that's been out forever that has made them forever, and they had all the Army contracts and everything. A company called Butler Creek. They've got the little yellow button on the back scope cap. You hit it, it flips it up, and then you reach forward and you hit the little fixed buttons on the front, both sides of your front scope cap. Understand their patents ran out a long time ago, and so there are other companies making Butler Creek ones. You can buy a Butler Creek scope cap. You just got to measure the outer diameter of the objective lens on the front of the scope, or if you want it for the back, you measure the outside diameter of your ocular lens there, measure it in millimeters, and then go to their website. I think Brownells, you can buy every size of them, and literally they've got them. And the cool part about theirs, and the reason why I use theirs, is because I know they're always going to fit. They even have one that is large enough to go on the front of my PVS 22, which is the night scope that we would hook in front of our day scopes on our SR 25. That is my PVS 22 right there. All right, so right there also. Anyways, I ran it a lot. But the cool part was it comes with a really shitty Knight's Armament scope cap, which is totally worthless. But we got rid of those, and we went with literally the largest Butler Creek scope cap that we could find. It worked great for us. It did. It worked great. I would recommend Butler Creek. But again, I'm not hung up on expensive scope caps. Get ones that will flip up. They make clear ones. They make fancy metal ones, and ones that will thread on, and ones that have got shades built in. The purpose of a scope cap is to protect your lenses while you're not using them. That's what they're for. Nothing crazy, nothing squirrely. All right, we have our first super chat here from Heather Fly Fishes. Heather Fly Fishes threw down $10 from up in Alaska, and she's got a yellow turd playing the pink maracas. Thank you, Heather. That's a little obscene for this channel, but I'm good with that. Thank you so much. Nicholas T threw down a question here. Hey, Carl, you have any stories about the 24th Special Tactics Squadron? I do not. I don't. Here's the deal. My old, the cool part is I wasn't on just a regular A team. I was for a few years. But then I moved over to the SIF company, and then it was changed to a CRIF company, and now it's a hard target defeat, blah, 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 blah. But basically, I was in a special mission unit. We specialized in direct action. Matter of fact, I was one of like the top snipers for that unit to support the assault force while they were doing it. But because we didn't just work as a 12-man A team, we usually worked, the smallest would be a troop size or a half company. We would often get all these other attachments to us. For example, we didn't get Army EOD guys attached to us. We actually got the Navy Special Ops EOD guys attached to us. So we always had Navy EOD. Cool part about them, and I'm not bashing the Army EOD guys, not at all. But these particular Navy EOD guys, they were literally the ones trained. Do you cut the blue wire or the green wire on the nuke? That's the level that these guys were trained to. So anyways, we had them attached to us. We'd get certain linguists, certain intelligence guys, a couple interrogators, but we would also get Air Force guys attached. Sometimes we'd get like a SEAL platoon attached to us or stuff like that. It's always good to have some more whoas around. But they're just another gun. There's no shortage of guys with guns. What you needed, though, was guys, we called them enablers. Right? Your dog teams are an enabler. Right? They bring a capability that you don't normally have. So we would have Air Force guys come with us. Every once in a while, we'd get a PJ, pararescue guy. Understand, they train a lot like a Special Forces medic does, but they're never going to parachute behind enemy lines and train guerrillas and do all the medical support for them. So they're geared more for trauma. And that's they should. Their job as a PJ is to go down the jungle penetrator, get that U.S. Air Force pilot that has crashed, bring him up, and get out. That's the job of a PJ. So every once in a while, we'd get Air Force PJs attached to us, and I'm not bashing them. It's just, understand, we had SF medics, 2 on every A team. So a PJ attached to us, all right, dude, you stay with the doc. You stay with the PA, and most of the time we left them on the helicopter. Now, that said, your other Air Force guys, and we're not going to get into Air Force weather, the Special Ops Air Force weather guys. We're not. We're going to understand we're not. There's nothing but jokes about them. All right, but the rest of your guys, your STS guys, stuff like that, they're awesome. They're great to have on the ground because these are guys that live and breathe their radios. The radio equipment, the antennas, the best stuff for that part of the battlefield. And they live and breathe talking to all the platforms above us. So whether you're talking to a flight of F-16s, whether you're talking to an A-10, whether you're talking to an AC-130 Spectre gunship, understand all those pilots will tell you they're great at interacting with guys on the ground, but understand all 3 of those platforms interact with the planet differently. And F-16 is used to coming in on straight gun runs, and he does not see very well in the dark. He's got his little lantern pod and everything. But basically, he's looking for grids to put things on, put ordnance on. A-10, that right? A-10 Warthog's infantryman's best friend. They're awesome, but understand that pilot is looking out the side of that canopy wearing goggles, night vision goggles, the same ones I'm wearing on the ground. And but he is used to getting very, very close. Apache gunships, they're used to being closer, but an Apache gunship can't see down. They're wide, all right? And that Spectre gunship, he's up high, the plane's pressurized. They're used to looking through thermals and being able to zoom in, and they've got great SA on the battlefield, but sometimes they think they know too well what is going on the ground. So that's a cool part about having the Air Force guys with us. The SCS guys, they literally, you won't hear me bash them. You won't, because they brought a lot of great capability to the gunfight. They really did. Not now. All right. Let's see. I'm going to go back up to Heather's. Yeah, STS guys are awesome, without a doubt. I wish I could remember some of the guys in the STS that worked with us. They're always great guys. I'm seriously, to the letter, I think we only had like 1 or 2, and they were always young guys, too cocky. But other than that, they were always awesome. And understand, Well, Carl, you're just saying that. No, literally, all the Air Force SCS guys were awesome. A lot of the other enablers are not. Like we had a combat camera guy show up who, yeah, I'm used to going in this, in the stack on the initial brief. I'm like, no, Woodchuck, your ass is in the, you're in the back with the doc. And then when the gunfight actually breaks out, hey, where's combat camera? Oh, he's laying in the back seat floorboard of the Humvee sucking his thumb. Sometimes they're good, sometimes not so much. So anyway, never had a problem with the Air Force. Wei Chen, hello, Carl. How can I be a good instructor, especially in a military organization with mixed nationalities, and how can I make them trust me in the shortest time possible? Lead from the front. And what I mean by that is literally whatever the task is that you're teaching. Let's say you're teaching pistol right off the bat. Hey guys, we're going to do a quick test right off the bat just so we can see where everybody is. Because every one of them is going to tell you that they're awesome with a pistol or they're awesome with a rifle. But you do the test with them. So whether you're doing dot torture, if you don't know what dot torture is, you can download it. It takes 50 bullets to shoot dot torture. And it is a good test for evaluating students. I like to use like one of our CTEs, whether you're doing check drill or whatever. It's allowing you to see manipulation of the gun, transition to the pistol, accuracy, follow-up, speed reloads, everything all with one drill. It's called the check drill. If you start off, demonstrate the drill for them. Show them that you can meet the standard. You're not just some guy in the unit who is reading off the slides of a class that he was told he had to teach. Lead from the front. Show them that you are competent and capable to meet the standard, and they'll follow you. You don't have to stand up there and pump your chest and say, I was a Green Beret. Nobody cares, dude. Nobody cares that you were a Green Beret. Nobody cares that you're a Navy SEAL. Nobody cares that you got 3 Bronze Stars. Nobody cares. The reality is they just don't. Okay, you were awesome back then. How about now? Show it. So lead from the front. And it doesn't matter if it's land nav or whatever. If you, while you're teaching, demonstrate it. Literally. All right, hey guys, here's, for example, even if you're doing simple map stuff, and you can do it by slides, but a good way to do is get that GoPro camera mounted right above your desk, switch the feeds on the projector so they can actually see what you're doing, and show them, hey man, you do this with the protractor, you orientate your map, you do this, you line up this is how you do the azimuth. Don't forget your GM angle because we're going from magnetic to grid or grid to magnetic, blah blah blah. And you show them that you are competent on the subject. But again, anyway, that's my thing. Is you want people to follow you. You have to be in front. And that means your skill level and your competency also. Yeah, little truth to that. Excellent question. All right, next one. Jonathan Camps threw down 2 bones. Thoughts on the GBRS Hydra mount? Honest, I don't have enough experience with it to give you an honest answer. I'm sorry, I'm not saying you just pissed away $2. But honestly, guys, I don't want to just be somebody that regurgitates what they've read in a magazine or what they've seen other people say on the internet. All right, because a lot of times people are literally just regurgitating the talking points that came with that, that item. Okay, when I get a new scope in to be reviewed, it always comes with an envelope with marketing talking points that they want me to cover. Most of the time, I don't even open that envelope up. I could care less what they want me to talk about. I'm gonna beat the snot out of it, and then I will give you my honest opinion. So I'm sorry, I don't know enough about the Hydra mount. I don't. Sorry, brother. Not gonna lie, just not. I'd rather say I don't have enough information to give you an educated opinion. All right, Amar Reynolds. Hello, Carl. I will be taking your rifle course earlier next year. I have a Ruger 5.56 iron sights. Is that sufficient? Yeah, honest. Guys, when you take our pistol course, I want you to show up with your pistol that you plan on fighting with. And if you're, what you deem fighting with is your EDC pistol, that's what I want you to come with. Now, mind you, I'm going to have you use the outside the waistband holster because concealed carry, all that is a different course. All right. Same thing with your rifle. I want you to bring your gun with your ammo that you plan on using in a gunfight to the class. So I've had guys there with iron sights. I've had guys there with aim points. I have guys with ACOGs. Now understand, most of your shots, and you're going to get out a little distance, but most of your shots are going to be 5 to 7 meters. 5 to 7 meters, a guy's running a 5X or a 3X ACOG. Well, that's too much matter. No, it's not. If that's all you have, use it. All right. You don't have to have a 1 to 6 or a 1 to 8. You don't have to have an EOTech. You don't have to have the latest and greatest aim point or Sig Romeo 12 or anything. You don't. I want you to come to class with your gun, your ammo. Now, I'm going to want you to have a sling on it. I'm going to want you to have 3 magazines for that rifle, 3 magazines for that pistol. I want you to have a holster so that when you run, your pistol doesn't fall out of it. And I want you to have magazine pouches for it. Other than that, everything else. Shake out your kit. If you want to come to class and wear body armor, plate carrier, vests, big fancy gun belts with dump pouches, and that's fine. You can. Come. I want you to come and train with your gear, not my gear. Don't come train with my gear. Now, that said, I got a guy coming from Canada, take a class, and he has asked, can he rent firearms? He owns firearms up there. He's got all the proper paperwork and everything. He's worried about coming across the border with some, some agents on the border. Hey, what are you doing? You're smuggling I'm not. I got all my paperwork. Well, that paperwork's not right. They didn't cross this T on line 5, page 5, line 32. So he's going to leave his guns at home. He's going to borrow my guns, and we'll all live happily ever after. But yeah, come bring your stuff. Bring your stuff to class. Bring your stuff to class. You'll find you're going to enjoy class a lot more when you've got your own stuff. Ruger 5.56 is just fine. All right, next question. Skunk Works. When the shit hits the fan, what's the best cat to buy? Does it matter? When you say cat, I'm assuming you mean like a tourniquet. Now, there are different generations of cat tourniquets. I sell the Cat 7 tourniquets because when I bought my last box of 100 of them, that's what literally the top of the line was. So excuse me, med guys, if there's actually a Cat 8 out right now, but I believe the best out there is still the Cat 7. The Cat tourniquet by the Academy of TCCC is one of 2 approved tourniquets, the other one being the Soft T Wide. All right. It's a good tourniquet. I prefer, if you're only going to carry one, I prefer the Cat 7 because you can use it on yourself a lot easier than you can a Soft T Wide. It's just easier to get it tight one-handed than a Soft T Wide is. But they're both great tourniquets. Now, is a Cat 7 the only thing you can use? No, if all you got's a Cat 6 or a Cat 5, understand they're still good. They've just, over the years, have made improvements because like the windlasses were breaking in the cold up in Afghanistan, stuff like that. Now, one thing I will caution you on, though, is if you go to North American Rescue and you see how much a Cat 7 tourniquet costs, and you go to Amazon, you're going to see there's a bunch of companies that sell them for roughly the same price. Those are, and they'll tell you they're real Cat 7s are going to be $22 a piece or $40. I haven't looked them up in forever. I don't know what they run for right now because I have a box of like 20 of them. All right. But while you're there, you're going to see that there's one that says Cat 7. it's going to say it's real. It's going to look identical, and it's only going to be $7. Why is it $7 on Amazon? Because it is a Chinese-made knockoff. It is made for airsoft. It is, in other words, it is made for looks. It is not made to actually be used as a life-saving device. So they should say that, but they don't. Now, I'm not bashing Chinese quality, because the Chinese make your iPhone. The Chinese make that 90-inch flat screen TV that costs $10,000. But at the same time, when Walmart goes to the Chinese and says, hey, we want that 90-inch flat screen TV that costs $10,000, but we only want to pay $800 for it, the Chinese go, okay, we can do that. But understand, you're not going to get the same quality. You're just not. Worse is they started back in the day counterfeiting DVDs, and they made a ton of money. So then they started counterfeiting everything else. And unfortunately, they do it with everything. So you can get optics that are counterfeit. You can get scope mounts that are counterfeit. If that's all you can afford, that's fine. But life-saving equipment like the cat tourniquet, guys, that is life-saving. If you're going to carry one, you might as well carry one that will save your life. All right. Just got another super chat in here. Fancy Pants and AR-15s threw down 10 pounds. After seeing your primary arms Griffin video, I am ordering one. Do you know if there is much of a difference in standard to the platinum one? Thanks. Yes. All right. Right off the bat. Trying to see if I have another older one. The one in the video that I did is the Platinum Series. All right, it is badass. It's badass. But my only complaint about it was it's a little heavy. All right, this is the new one. All right, new and improved. All right, and I believe this is the Platinum Series. Platinum Series. Look how this thing is PLX, the Platinum Series one. And this one is a Raptor. My other one here is a Griffin. All right. The Platinum Series is quality-wise. They have their Silver Series. Then they wanted to have a Gold Series, but that term had already been patented, so they had to call it a GLX. And then had their Platinum Series. So now they changed it to SLX, GLX, and PLX. But it means silver, gold, and platinum. Now, quality-wise, what does that mean? Because that's important. All right, now, I'm not saying the Silver Series is not decent quality. If that's all you can afford, it is still Vortex and Night Force quality. What I mean by that is Vortex has got cheap scopes and Night Force has got cheap scopes that are all made in China. And they're made literally on the same assembly line as the Silver Series is by Primary Arms. I know I'm pissing all three companies off right now, and I don't care. All right. But understand the Silver Series, Chinese made, Chinese glass, Chinese assembly, and they're decent quality. They are not airsoft. They are decent quality. The Gold Series of scopes, I want to say, is made in the Philippines. Don't quote me on that, but I know they're made outside of China, and they're supposed to be a better quality. And then the Platinum Series, that's their top-of-the-line stuff. It is actually uses Japanese glass and made in Japan or somewhere outside of China. The Platinum Series is their top-of-the-line stuff, uses good Japanese glass. If you don't like the word Japanese, I don't care, because a lot of your big scope companies, like all of the big high top dollar scope companies, they all use Japanese glass because Japanese glass is good glass. Very, very good glass. So if you could afford it, I would go with the Platinum Series. If you can't afford it, you think about going with the Gold, I would caution you and say, I'm big on taking envelopes, and instead of buying a $12 foo-foo coffee at some big coffee shop, take that $10 bill and pitch it in the envelope and write PLX scope on it. And that's how I got my eye surgery done. I would just $10 bill, $20 bill, and eventually I saved up enough money to replace the lens in my eye. I would do the same thing. I'd wait a month, save up the money, and honestly, I would splurge. I love their Platinum Series scopes. Great stuff indeed. All right, Susan, I know I'm falling behind. Cut me some slack. All right, guys, if you're not sure what he's talking about with the Griffin reticle versus the Raptor has a bullet drop compensating reticle in it that is made for basically measuring and engaging two-legged mammals. If you are a deer hunter or hog hunter, the Raptor reticle will not help you at all. The Griffin reticle has some of that stuff in it, so you still can do rapid measuring of two-legged mammals on the modern battlefield, but it also has a mil grid in it. So let's say you use your phone with your ballistic calculator and all that stuff, you can get your exact data. That's important for me for like shooting 3-gun matches where the steel plates are not 5'9". The steel plates are only 10 inches tall. So the mil grid seemed to work better for me. All right, I like the Griffin, guys. I do like the Griffin. Joe Tompkins, do Green Berets have any rivalries with any other branches, special forces? We used to. We did back in the day. The Rangers, okay, Rangers, and then Delta. But like the SEALs, you guys will hear me joking saying, I love the SEALs. If I've got to play volleyball, I want the SEALs on my team, all right? And they would bash us for being the old fat guys. But we always hung out in the same gyms, and we went to Halo school together and this, that, and the other. But the reality is when the towers fell, there was enough work to go around for everybody. And what you saw was the SEALs make a lot of stupid mistakes, but that's because they are a younger group, but they're also in better shape. They're bred to be, hey, there's nobody out there better than you. That's literally what they're told. And it makes them arrogant, but it also makes them not skittish about gunfire. And they are the best at what they do, underwater demolition, stuff like that. But you bring them out on land, and they're good. They're good for a while. Now, the flip side of that is your Green Berets, and we have the 18 X-ray program. I don't even know if they still do it, but I think they do. But back in the day, you couldn't even go try to get your Green Beret. You couldn't go to selection, and you got to understand the course is over 2 years long. So you couldn't even go to selection until you were already pinned to E5 Sergeant 3 stripes. So, but what that did was you already had guys that already had experience. And by the time they got to an A team, the guys on the A team had already been there a while. So you're an older crowd, but everybody's a lot more experienced, and better decisions are made. Now, and then the Air Force. Does the Air Force really have special ops? I mean, you got the Ospreys, right? They replaced the MH-53s. Those are they go in to rescue those pilots that have crashed. It's awesome. That PJ that's got to go down the jungle penetrator, that is badass. That's a great job. It is. It is. It's a badass job. But, MARSOC now has special ops. As a matter of fact, they actually... modeled MARSOC after the SIF companies. They call their medics 18 Deltas. They call their breachers Charlies, all this, that, and the other stuff, because that was basically the mission that these guys were going to be doing. And we don't have any rivalry with them at all. There's plenty of work to go around, guys. Plenty of work to go around. That is good coffee right there. All right, so I see Susan has given me a bunch more questions here. Guys, I got Steve Holland coming. I'm even trying to get Emery Morgenstern to stop by tonight, so we're going to be doing a giveaway. It's a surprise for you guys, so you might want to hang around. I'll give you a hint. It's shaped a lot like a karambit, but it costs a hell of a lot more. Wink, wink. All right, Chris Moore threw down 5 bones. How often do you clean your suppressors? Just got my first one and I have no clue. I don't. Because the reality is I don't put thousands of rounds through them like I used to. No, that's the truth. Oil the threads, clean them up a little bit so that they'll go on and off the gun. Here's where you do clean them. If you're outside hunting, if you're outside doing Operation Valkyrie, and your stuff goes underwater, or you get rain all over it, mud all over it, you clean that off real good. But if you're talking about, well, you got to clean the carbon off of it, you got to understand, you have literally got to shoot tens of thousands of rounds through a suppressor for you to clog that puppy up. And that's why most of them cannot be disassembled. Because it's a welded pipe. Now there are some now, like my dead air one. I can't touch it because YouTube will lose their shit if I touch it and bring a gun over here. It can be disassembled. Okay, right? Because that allows, and the cool part is I can make it different lengths. So like putting it on my Glock or putting it on a 45 caliber subgun or a 9mm subgun, I can make different lengths. But the cool part is because of that, it can be this long or it can be that long. I can pull the baffles all out and clean the baffles, right? Because everybody's like, you got to clean your suppressor. Nada. You don't have to clean that thing. No. But here's the disadvantage to that is it loosens up. It does. Or worse, because I want to be able to take it off the gun from time to time, it will literally carbon up so much that I can't get it off the gun. And then when I go to try to force it off, it ends up unthreading and coming apart. And that's not what, you see, so having a suppressor that I can take apart so I can clean it, I'm not bashing. I know that's the latest hotness. And if you're a guy that's going to shoot tens of thousands of rounds, 30,000 rounds a year, and I used to when I was in the military. I was in a direct action unit. That was our job, shoot guns a lot. I'm watching the cameras up above. I got cameras out around the property. I'm watching my dogs harass somebody driving by right now. It's Michael Phelps in the police car. My dogs don't care. They can't read that word police. They don't know. They don't know. All right. I got Britchers. Got somebody else that texts me right in the middle of the live stream. We're not gonna vent. We're not. We are not gonna vent. All right, next one is from Elevated Agenda 5 Bones. What is Round Canopy Parachute Team Operation Black Cat, seeing that it departs from a skydive facility and lasts a week, makes me think that I may need to go. Excellent question. Guys, you guys know me and my son, we jump with the, I'm trying to see if I got my wings here, laying on the desk somewhere. My son wanted to try parachuting. So we go jump out of, we jump with the Round Canopy Parachute Team. There are a lot of guys that enjoy jumping in the military. They want to keep the airborne legacy alive. We just had the anniversary of D-Day, Operation Market Garden, all that stuff, all the jumps in the World War II, jumps in Vietnam, all that stuff. So the Round Canopy Parachuting Team, USA.org. That's the website you can go to. They keep that airborne legacy alive. They hold two. Well, they just held an event this past weekend. They did a water jump, but they hold two big events a year. I go to both of them, and the first one is Operation Sand Snake. It's in March. I will be there in March. And the second one that they do is Operation Black Cat. They do that in, I want to say it's end of October this year, last week of October. And what they do is they run a basic airborne course. 2 days before that is Jump Master Refresher. I will go through Jump Master Refresher so that I can then help run the guys through airborne school, guys and gals. So my son went through this last March, and I think my son's got 17 jumps now, 12, 13, whatever, something like that. And we're both going to go down in October for Operation Black Cat. Where in March they have a World War II theme. The one in the fall is a Vietnam era theme. So I'm hoping they can get a UH-1 Huey helicopter for us to jump out of. They might get a Sky van or something like that. But anyways, it's a great time. So if you've thought about parachute, and you don't have to have been airborne in the military. You don't have to have been in the military at all. You literally, but if you wanted to try it. For example, Chris is a great guy. South Carolina, never in the military, but he came to Round Canopy Parachute Team same time my son went through, and he came to honor his uncle who was airborne in Vietnam or something like that. And Chris came and jumped, and first jump hit the hanger, but after that he made great jumps. I was the guy that gave him blood wings. We became good friends. He actually drove in with his honey bunny and Sue LaRue and Sue's wife, and they were here for the 4th of July. So the reason why I'm throwing that out there is me and Chris never met. Our paths crossed because of the Round Canopy parachuting team, and it was awesome. It was awesome. We had a great weekend here just chilling and talking about that stuff. Chris will be out there in October. Operation Black Cat. Guys, you can sign up for it at rcptusa.org. Why the USA? Because they literally have a French one. They have a British one. Yeah, they do. I'm not making this shit up. All right. I know I'm falling behind. Anyways, guys, it's down in Palatka, Florida, and it's a great time. I actually bring my little camper. I stay out right on the drop zone, right there. There's a skydive club there that lets me use the shower and stuff. It is a party every night. LV Truckee, Carl, can you recommend a good chest rig for home defense? I'm running a Ruger PC-9 in communist New York. A good chest rig? Yeah, dude, get a plate. I'm not joking. Get a front plate and put a couple spare mags on the front of it, and that's the chest rig that you need. Because you remember, you specifically mentioned home defense, which means you're defending your home by definition, which means they've come through your door, which means you know what direction they're coming from, and you've pushed your family behind you. You need to have a plate or a shield or a metal wall that's got a small slot for you to shoot through down the long hallway of your house. You guys understand that would be better. I'm sincere when I say that. If you have the presence of mind, bring everybody back to a safe room, yell, hey, I've already called the cops, you need to get out of my house, and stay there and ambush them. And it would be better if you had a nice pillbox position to shoot from. And I know you're going to say, well, in New York City, it's illegal for me to own body armor. I don't give a shit. I don't. You can buy a plate carrier without body armor in it. You order it from ATS Tactical Gear. They can send it to New York City. It is not illegal for you to have a ballistic nylon plate carrier. It's not. If it's illegal for you to have body armor, that's fine. You can still use it as a chest rig with no plates in it. Everybody's heard of the Rangers pulling their plates out and dumping them before they went up the mountain in Afghanistan. Trust me, they're not the only ones that have ever done that. A plate carrier without plates in it is still a great chest rig. It's a great chest rig. It's a great chest rig. All right. But if somebody breaks into your house, I don't care whether it's illegal or not. I'm going to put that plate on my front. I'm going to put plate on my front. Whether it's illegal for you to have it or not, I could care less. I literally could care less. All right, KM7120. Man, your mom must have had a lot of kids when she had a serial number. You all. Carl, comma. Were any of the MACV SOG guys still in when you were SF? Yes and no. They weren't still in. Now, there might have been some old crusty sergeant majors and colonels and stuff like that, but you understand, as a young E6 Green Beret, they were outside my food chain. That said, though, when I graduated the Q course, I showed up to my unit a couple days earlier than everybody else from my language school class. I was chomping at the bit. I wanted to go. And my instructor said, hey, when you get there, you shut your freaking mouth. You don't know nothing. You volunteer to do anything. You keep your mouth shut. So I get there, and literally I sign in, and they're like, hey, your team sergeant's getting back from Saudi Arabia. The rest of your team is going to be all new guys from the Q course, including your captain. And you'll meet them all in a couple of days. But they're, hey, by the way, this other team, 532, they're getting ready to go on a JTF-6 mission in California, and their medic is in school. They need a medic. Do you want to go? I was told to volunteer for everything. So I'm like, sure. So literally my first day in group, I went to base, and I came home that day. My wife's like, so how do you like your new job as a Green Beret? And I'm like, honey, I deploy tomorrow. I literally packed my stuff, and we flew the very next day to go to California. JTF-6 mission, we're out through Cleveland National Forest looking for marijuana fields. And it was a part of the mountain range there that the DEA guys and forest rangers couldn't go to. Their field craft wasn't good enough, basically. Anyways, on my little team, I had, Terry Summers and Chief Sexton. Chief Sexton was a old Vietnam era LRP. I don't know if he was MACV SOG, but he was definitely a recon guy. He had gotten out of the military for a while and then came back in, and that's the reason why he was a warrant officer on an A-team. And I learned a lot from him. I was only with him for just that one deployment. As soon as I got back, we're all unloading the stuff, and there's all my guys from language school. They're like, hey, Carl, you're on our team. You're not on their team. Come on over here across the hallway. So, I guess there might have been some MACV SOG guys around, but I didn't see very many of them. I already did that one. Sorry, guys. I every time I put my phone down, I get out of order. All right, Holly Movie Star threw down 5 bones. Are chem biological, radiological, nuclear teams part of special operations? And did you ever get an opportunity to do any broken arrow training exercises? That's really 2 questions right there. Not all CBRN teams are special ops. Not all are. There is, understand there are ChemDet teams at every special ops group. There are. There's also a KBRN team that is considered tier 1, and I'm not going to talk about them here. All right. As far as broken arrows, I'm sorry, I thought you said broken axle. Broken arrow training exercises, I'm not, you understand, guys, I signed certain non-disclosure agreements. Broken arrow exercise, I'll put it this way. Yes, but we're not going to talk about them. We're not. All right. Mike Hall threw down $10 with no question. Mike, I appreciate that. I really do. Mike Hall, and here is his question. Okay. Hi, Carl. Hope your 4th was awesome. I was wondering if you have any advice for using a red dot with astigmatism. I bought a new aim point and had no idea I have astigmatism. Yep. You guys understand what he's saying when he means astigmatism. Because a lot of guys don't really understand what that term means. Long story short, the light prisms through his lens of his eye a little bit, and that pretty dot that he had, pretty dot in the center of his red dot scope doesn't look like that. Instead, he basically has got might look like a comma or a comma, but that comma could be in any different direction. here's what I'll tell you is one, try to dim it as much as possible. All right. But what you'll find is that's great for in the house and stuff for outside. But when you go out on a bright day, you're going to have to put your stuff as bright as possible. So first, I'll tell you at 3 meters and 5 meters, understand that's 90% of your engagements with a red dot optic are going to be at close quarters battle distances. And 90% of those are going to be inside a room. Now, if you think about how big let's say your master bedroom is, all right, let's say you have a 15 feet by 12 foot room, all right? So basically 5 meters by 4 meters, all right? And we'll do it long distance, right? So we'll say the door is way at that far 5, right? You understand, you got a 15 foot wide. A lot of you guys got bigger ones, right? We'll say 21, all right? We'll say 21 foot master bedroom. Okay, you got a big bedroom, by the way. That's only 7 meters. 21 feet, that's 7 meters. Now, you go through the doorway and that guy's in there sniffing your wife's panties. You come in with a gun, you're moving. Understand that's that first step you take, because it takes you one human reaction time to determine that it's a threat that warrants deadly force. You're moving. So now you're from 7 meters, you're at 6 meters. All right. Now, he's probably not leaning right up against the wall. He's probably not. So if he's at least 1 meter inside the room, now you're at 6 meters. See what I'm getting at? So my reason for saying that is and that's with a big room. If you're looking at a child's bedroom, you're going to be 3 meters. You bring that rifle up. Guys, that's 1 meter long, by the way. Your muzzle is, you understand, guys, when you hit this guy, not only are you going to smell him, you're going to get phlegm coming off of him. You're going to get sweat coming off of him. You're going to get biohazard coming off the back wall over his shoulders. You have this right here in you for the rest of your life. It will never leave. You'll never forget it. You're never going to forget that at all. You are literally right here, intimate with this perpetrator inside the room. You're never going to get rid of them. It's never going to be gone. He's wearing a fucking bandolier. I love you, Steve. I love you. All right. So being close in, if you have astigmatism and you got a little curve, no big deal. Now, to figure out where in that hook your aiming point is, go out and shoot grouping drills at 50 meters. What I mean by that is put your comma on the target and aim with the bottom of it, aim with the top, and figure out where your bullets are actually hitting. And that's the part of, because I still have astigmatism. Sometimes, guys, because I only got one eye operated on, I can shoot one eye, I can shoot the other eye. You guys see me shoot red dots. You see me do it with iron sights. I do it one-handed, and I can shoot at distance. All right, so anyways, that's what you need to do. Figure out where your comma is hitting. Steve, how are you doing, brother?
Well, Mr. Kinetic Energy, how you doing?
I am doing good.
Happy Independence Day.
Thank you. Likewise, you
all
too,
you British.
No, it's British.
British. All you British.
British. You know why they say British? British. There's no T in British. Why? Because we poured all that shit in the harbor.
Boston Harbor.
All right. Oh. All right. I got a few more questions here, Steve. This from Nicholas T. If you could only have one to mount on a helmet, would you choose an MVD or a thermal? You said helmet. If you could only have one, guys, you got to go I squared. You go with a good PVS 14. Thermals, guys, you can't see through glass. And all this bullshit you can see through movies, that is total bullshit. You can't even see through the windshield of your vehicle with a thermal. You can't. Oh, yeah, you can. No, you cannot. When you look at that door, you can see the guy outside, the glass door, wave at him. You're going to see he's waving back at you. Why? Because that's you. It is your heat reflecting off the glass. Now, thermals are awesome, guys. I keep a thermal on my gun belt. I do. But no, my go bag and my vehicles have PVS 14s in them. Don't take my go bag, guys, just because you want a free PVS 14. No, your life's not worth it. Don't do that to your family. Jeff Bowman, Carl, are you going to have Derek Stoner on a live stream anytime soon? Who is Derek Stoner? You know who that is? Never heard of him.
Never heard of him.
I'm
not saying he's not a great guy.
Maybe. I don't know who that is. Michael Johnson, 5 Bones. Hi. One rifle in country where possible. Some of the indigenous in our government could be unfriendly. 5.56 or 308. Bolt or gas gun, no parts available. Never bring a bolt gun to a gunfight. So you want a gas gun. And 5.56 or 308. I'm going to say 5.56 because there's a lot more ammo available on the entire planet, and also it's a lot lighter. Yeah. Jim Lang, what kind of cams do you recommend? It depends what kind of motor I'm building in that hot rod. Now, if you're talking camouflage, guys, I'm not big on Gucci patterns. I like shit that blends in. So,
Short story.
I like mossy oak, stuff like that. Go ahead, Steve.
Short story. Back in the day, when I think I mentioned this on one of the TR segments. By the way, TR Nation, how you doing tonight? God bless America. Happy Independence. So we doing a shooting exercise with night vision. We found out that the guys couldn't see the targets because it was a standard 18-inch silhouette target, green. And to give the guys a difference in the lanes, lane 1 was green, lane 2 was flipped over to the backside, which was cardboard brown. Mm-hmm. And as we progressed through the segment for that week, guys kept saying, I can't see this target. And then I realized they can't see the cardboard. And that's led to what we now call flat dark earth and coyote brown, which led to me in support of A15, and I think Don Alexander was either a troop commander or
he was the XO of the whole company. He was
XO of the whole company. I told Don, I said, Don, send me a picture of your area, of your terrain. He sent me some pictures of his terrain. It just so happens it's about a week before the SHOT Show. So at the SHOT Show, I went to all the different companies that sold camouflage in that sector of the SHOT Show floor, and lo and behold, this one company had a mixture of browns and grays, but a lot of grays. And I said, you know what? That's spot on. So doing the typical, force modernization, combat development thing that I did as a senior NCO, I made a decision right there on the spot. I bought a bunch of it. And we put it on the pallet, and we pushed it over to Carl and the guys. And later on, when they got a chance, in between combat, they sent me some pictures back. And the guys were just, doing their standard tactical thing. And even with my observation skills, of course, when you run a sniper school and you're dealing with concealment exercises and stalks, you get really good at spotting people, spotting things. Mm-hmm. And it blended in so well. So there is no specific camouflage other than if you know where you're going or the terrain you're going to be in. Because if I tell you that, flat dark earth works better, or some grays work better, or the multicams work better, and you end up in a suburban environment, that stuff is going to stand out.
Yeah, I have guys that go deer hunting with multicam, and they stick out. They stick out.
So basically what you have to do is you have to look at your environment, mm-hmm. and one of the things we should teach at sniper school, because back before then, when guys camouflage, we used to have the little camouflage sticks, and you flip it open, don't tell them what kind of chemical was in that. That's why guys are like dying these days. But, guys would do dots and all this other stuff. And I would show them that, taking pictures in a concealment exercise, if you take a large portion of your face and hands that what they can see, your hat, your sniper veil, larger splotches breaks up what the human eye sees if it's seen in 3D or 2D. So it's much better to take those colors. And, if you're in an urban environment, big color sections of that area, if it's red brick, maybe some grays, if you're going to lean up against a Dipsy dumpster, big splotch of green, with a Dipsy dumpster,
That's why the
name,
pattern on vehicles, camouflage vehicles, is a much larger pattern than the ones on uniforms. It's what your distances you're going to be at. All right, Steve, I got a fucking ton of them here. I really do. All right, next one. Any cool shelter building stories in soft? From Jonathan Camps. Shelter building stories. Shelter. I got a bunch of hide sites.
Yeah, I was about to say, I know hide sites. I don't know shelters.
Hide site building stories.
Now, when it comes to hide site, my favorite one is, I don't know if it's Bravo 15 or Charlie 15, but I remember Roy Tabron, his team, and I can remember the warrant. I can see his face. I can't think of his name. In Iraq, and they basically was in an overwatch position over high value avenue of approach, which to you guys would be like a big highway intersection or something like that. They had enough standoff distance, I don't know, 800-900 meters off the highway, but they can observe and report. A goat herder and his grandson were coming through the area, and of course, in any situation, you always got to account for animals. Animals are not humans. They are going to pick you up right away. Goats smell just like deer. Deer have like 90%, 290% higher smell detection than a dog. And we use dogs for tracking. The goat herder's grandson came up to the hide site. Once you get to a hide site is invisible at a standoff distance. I mean, when you get on top of it, it ain't gonna work. So he basically walked up, saw something was different, picked up the burlap, and on one of the hide sites, there was 3 guys in there, and Roy Tabron was one of them. He's a 18 Delta SF medic, and they were sitting there with I can't remember what they have, 9mm Beretta suppressed, or it was we used to have the Browning high power 22 hush puppies suppressed, and they had the kid dead to right. They said he's probably 10, 11 years old, and they got on the radio and said, "Hey, we've been compromised, blah, 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 blah." And they said, somebody back in the rear who doesn't have any situational awareness said, "Take him out." And Roy and Chad Baldwins said, we ain't going to shoot a 12-year-old kid. I'm sorry. Ain't going to happen. So, of course, the kid ran back, told his granddad. Granddad ran back, told somebody else, who told somebody else. And about 40 minutes later, about 6 or 7 pickup trucks pulled up with dushkas, and it was game on.
And that happens all the time, guys. So
it's hide sites and everything works to a certain degree.
Bravo 20, the Berets SAS guys in Desert Storm, same thing. That's almost that exact same story. The little goat herder rolled them up. All right, Annalise and Kyle threw down 10 bones, got enrolled in the round canopy parachute team the other day. Can't wait for October. Any idea when they slots go on sale? I'd hate to miss it. I was told that it just went, they just opened it up. Oh, that's a good looking cup, man.
Good looking cup, man, isn't it?
It is. Annalise, I mentioned Chris was here to see the fireworks with me last night. And same thing, he's looking forward to signing up. So, yeah, you got slots. We'll get you in. And, you guys will have fun. Hopefully both of y'all are going to jump. That would be great. I'd love to put you both through airborne school. They're talking about the round canopy parachute team down in Palatka, Florida. We're doing Operation Black Cat in October. We'll be jumping out of a Huey. It'll be a good time.
Gotta love it.
Not for your first 5 jumps. Airborne school is done out of a little Cessna 182. It's a little itty bitty shit airplane. I've never landed in one. I always get out with a parachute.
My favorite Huey jump was my first one, and it was a free fall jump. And I remember just stepping out, expecting the same thing I always do on halo jumps, not realizing that this Huey is doing like 80 knots instead of 120. So the first time I stepped out, expecting just catch the wind and get big and everything else, there was nothing. There was nothing.
Yeah,
Next thing I know,
all dead air.
Yeah, all dead air. Next thing I know, I'm swimming and crabbing in the air, and what a ride! What a ride.
All right, Okie Precision. Hey, Carl, or hey, Tactical Rifleman. Did you ever go to Sephartech? If not, what did your SIF need you to do? Actually, I did go to Sephartech. That's the hostage rescue school for the SIF companies. Yeah, I went to... Everyone, basically, if you're on one of the assault teams or a sniper team, you have to go to Sephartech. It's required. Now, sometimes it takes you a while to get to it. I think I was actually in the company a year before I went. But, yeah, I went to Sephartech. Wow.
Oh, God.
A long time ago.
Oh,
99, 2000. Somewhere like that. Long time ago. Sephartech is... probably one of the most fun schools you'll ever go to. 63,000 rounds of ammo per student. That's including the UTM, the Frange, all your pistol, all your rifle. But it's first 2 weeks is nothing but flat range, and then you got your you get into doing CQB and then your CQB eval and everything. But, yeah, back then, I think it was 63,000 rounds per student. That's not counting flashbangs, explosive charges, yeah, all the other stuff. Breaching shells for the shotguns. No.
Yeah, most of you won't do that in a lifetime.
Yeah, no, it's...
Lifetime.
Actually broke, we had Brigadier slides on our Berettas. It's a reinforced heavy-duty slide. And it still broke. I think everybody's broke somewhere through the course. That's all the armor did. They called her the Black Widow. Her nose was like this long. But as soon as you walked in, she didn't even want to know how it happened. She's just like, throw your slide over there. Here's a new slide. And you walk back out. All right, next one. New York City Drummer 23. That's Marvin from New York City. Sup, Marvin? Sup?
Do your New York City, Bronx, Queens accent.
Nah.
You ain't got one?
Yeah, but except he doesn't have that accent. He doesn't have my Bronx accent. He doesn't. Okay. He's pretty mellow. Sup, Carl? Question: do you recommend the Life Defense 10x12 Frass plate body armor, or should I go with a non-flexible level 4 multi-curve plate? I believe he means a Safe Life Defense. Frass, what he means by that is flexible rifle rated armor system. Frass is okay. It's okay. But it's heavy, guys. It is heavy. But so long as you're getting one that is rated to stop green tip, okay. But make sure it's rated for that. I understand there's a lot of lighter plates out there. There's a lot of lighter plates. Do your homework on plates, guys. I am by no means an authority on armor. And here's why I say that, because literally, you guys saw the video I did with Dayton Armor. Those plates are so freaking light, guys. They're insanely light. Those are the best plates that I own, me personally. I've got 2 separate boxes of plates over here that I'm supposed to be shooting. They're supposed to be good plates. They're not as light as the Dayton plates, but they're still supposed to be good plates. Significant price savings on them. But I will by no means claim to be an expert on body armor plates. And because technology in plates, the different kinds of polymers and stuff are improving so quickly. The armor the varsity team is wearing this year is going to be different than the armor they're wearing in a year. Because literally technology is improving so quick in body armor. Juan J. Robos threw down 10 bones. This one's for Steve. Jeff Gurich on his site gave you credit for custom 1911s you put together and credit for the 6.8 caliber. Any stories? You know a Jeff Gurwitch?
Yeah, I remember that. That goes way back. Basically, as I was saying, the same thing in the situation where I had Carl's Element done, those guys get with me on what does your environment look like? Because I wasn't anywhere near where the SIF was. Send me pictures, show me what it looks like.
And that's what we loved about Steve, is he wanted our input, which I thought was awesome.
When we went to the Brigadier slide on the Beretta because the slides were breaking, the slides were coming off, hitting people in the face, which is not good. One of my fixes was the Brigadier slide. Problems with the M4, we went to the M4 heavy barrel. When it came to the guys that just didn't want the Beretta, what I did, very similar to our minigun program, I went to Rock Island Arsenal and Picatinny Arsenal and basically said, where are all the 1911s that got turned in when the Beretta, the M9 came online? And they said, well, we got, I don't know, 82,000 1911s that are in Code A condition, which means ready to shoot. I said, what I got to do to get about 800 of them? And the guy told me what all the paperwork was about, blah, 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 blah. Of course, again, I learned not to exactly inform the higher headquarters at Fort Bragg about, look, it's such a small, inconsequential thing, just 800 1911s. What could possibly go wrong, right? So I did all the paperwork, got the commander to sign it, and they said, well, we're going to do this and this and ship that. I said, no. You're about 9 hours from us. I'm going to send a deuce and a half. But we actually sent some passenger vans and got from the motor thing on
motor
Fort
pool,
Campbell.
yep.
Not the motor pool, but the
Fort Campbell
motor, what do you call it?
Yeah, whatever. I know what you're talking about.
So they got 2 passenger vans, drove up to Rock Island also, picked up 800 1911s. And then I asked the guys, I said, guys, we're not going to go like full blown out IPSC. We have to identify basic improvements, just basic improvements, and just go from that, you know. So basically, we came up with, I forget whose trigger we used. We changed the trigger, we changed the hammer, we changed to the beaver tail grip safety to match with the hammer, and we went to Novak fixed tritium night sights. Those are the only things that we did to those guns. Some people want to extended guide rod, extended guide rod. Some guys wanted to put compensate. I said, no. I'm going to get in enough trouble as it is.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm trying to spend the least amount of money I can along with the trouble I know is going to come this way. So we did the 1911s. We did M79 grenade launchers, and they went ape shit about that. I said, hey, I'm taking from the Army what is already in the Army inventory. The same with the miniguns. The M134s are already in the Army inventory. We're just putting them on Humvees. And their big thing was, well, it's an aircraft system, and you're not authorized to put it on the truck. I said, but it works on the truck, right? So we did M79s, we did 1911s, we did M134s, which became the Mark 44 gun system. And, the one that wasn't in the Army system, 2, actually, we did the HK M1014 shotgun, but it was in the Marine Corps system. It was under contract with the Marines. We got rid of the Mossberg 500 because nobody wanted to be in a prone position trying to pump a pump shotgun. And we did the H&K UMP 45 submachine gun.
I remember that.
Woo, baby. Woo, baby. I remember.
Now, the funny part is trying to get everybody enough 45 ammo because what do they need 45 ammo for? What? They shoot 9 mil.
You know how we sold it?
I don't know.
Because of all the grease guns and the other guns we had for the 18 Bravos under the Foreign Weapons Program. So we basically went to them and said, what is your quota every year for 45 ammo under this program? They said something like 30,000 rounds. I said, man, can you plus it up to about 215,000? The guy goes, man, we going to get in trouble.
Phil W. up in Alaska. He threw down $20.
All about being in the fight.
Phil says, God bless America because the politicians won't. I'm right there with you, Phil. Phil, I hope you're doing good up there in Alaska. I guarantee you the weather's better than it is down here. In your face, dude, on 5 bones. Most hilarious alcohol-related incident in soft. Most hilarious alcohol-related. Oh, shit, dude. Somebody's going to jail. In your face.
I got a good one.
Okay, go ahead, Steve. Go ahead.
We were conducting some training in Montana, and actually I got 2 now that I think about it. But in Montana,
I have no doubt. No doubt.
I mean, it's like minus 25 degrees. I mean, it's the worst winter they've had in like 50 years. And somehow, some way, they talked the company commander into letting us go into town. So we got on these Air Force buses, drove into town. The Air Force guys told us this bar club thing we can go to. So we go there. And everybody's having a good time. You don't let a entire company of Special Forces guys go into it was basically a college bar, okay? A college bar, and they've been stuck out in the cold weather for about 5 weeks, okay? So it's the first time they're actually really having a drink. So we go in there, and for some reason, and God bless America, for some reason, a couple of guys took offense with me, which of course I wasn't really doing anything. You know, I'm not running around chasing the girls and hooping and hollering and everything else. I just don't. That's not me. So I was standing up against the wall watching the guys have fun. They had this sunken dance floor, and this guy, long-haired guy, scraggly hair, hippie kind of guy, but a college guy, stood next to me. He said, "Hey man, how you doing?" I said, "I'm doing good." Blah blah blah, talking. He said, "You enjoying yourself?" Blah blah blah. Blah. I said, "Yeah." I said, "Yeah." Then another guy stood to this side, and he's like, "Yeah." Then he goes, "We really don't like your kind around here." And at first I thought he was joking. I said, "Okay, this guy's joking." So we kept talking. Another guy came up. So a couple of guys in the company came walking by, and to this day, this guy, Mike Adams, okay? What's up, brother?
Let Steve finish his story.
So Mike Adams comes walking by, and he's drunk as a skunk. I mean, drunk as a skunk. And I'm sitting here figuring out, okay, I got a guy here, small, scraggly guy, 130, 35 pounds. I got him covered. This guy right here, about 180 pounds. I finished him, then I transitioned to him. But there's other two guys, big, monster guys. Find out later on they were part of the college football team. So Mike comes walking by, stumbling, "Hey, Steve, how you doing?" Blah, blah, blah. I said, "Mike, I'm doing great." So I gave him this signal, okay? And, and he stumbled by, went in the bathroom. Then he came by about 2 minutes later. He stumbles back toward the rest of the guys partying on the dance floor. And then the scraggly guy who started, he pulled me toward him. And I just kind of like allowed him to let me go with his momentum because I needed to get away from the other two big guys behind me. So as I turned him with the, you guys know MMA and underhook. I turned him with an underhook. The other guy took a swing. And next thing I know, it was about 10 or 15 guys from the unit just like smashing these guys. And the fight was on. And it got crazy. And it rolled outside in the snow. There was blood everywhere in the snow. I mean, it was on. And later on, once the police got there, imagine now, guys, it's 25 degrees below. It's 25 below zero outside. So I'm fighting these guys hard as I can, not because I'm a good fighter. I didn't want these guys to get me outside because I'm like, I'm dressed. I'm gonna get out there and freeze my ass off and fight. So when it was all over, he said, "Hey, my company commander, is out wailing with these two guys. This is the Special Forces company commander, And later on, when we got back to the base and everything, and everybody says, "Hey, so what started this whole thing?" And I never thought Mike saw that. I never did. He said, "Man, I was going to the bathroom. I asked Steve how he was doing. He was talking to these four white guys, and he gave me the cover me on fuck signal." And he said, "Okay, I got it. I'm gonna fake going to the bathroom. I'm gonna go back and get the boys, and then we're gonna roll." And I never thought he saw that, or I didn't think he would get it. So that's one of my favorite drunk stories. To this day, Mike Adams' brother, if you're still with us, I love you. Much respect.
We got Emery here. We are going to Emery. We're going to bring your chair right in the middle because I don't want to sit next to Steve, man. I don't want to do it.
I don't need it.
I don't want to do it.
I don't even sit
All right,
next to
come on.
myself.
I see you brought meat biscuit with you. Woof, woof.
I go nowhere without him.
All right, Emery's got his dog. Get dog. Move. Come on.
Let's get Scoot.
Let's move. Up front. Scoot, come here.
Good boy.
Come here.
All right.
All right. Slide this way, son.
So we were telling
Nice and cozy.
favorite
Good, brother.
Good brother. How you doing? Happy 4th of July.
Yeah, happy America. Happy America.
Oh yeah.
Happy America.
Anyway,
he says.
favorite military wartime alcohol drinking incident.
I'm not sure I should go public.
Now we got Tiger Shark just threw down 20 bones. I've ordered an EOTech reflex sight. Can you the flip up iron sight through the EOTech, or will the iron sight be too short? One, you got to work on your grammar, brother.
Can you co-witness?
He's asking, is it going to be co-witness? What he means by that is when you have that optic, when you flip up that backup iron sight, are you going to be able to look straight through it? And again, understand that's going to depend on the height of your mount on your optic, or it's also going to depend on the height of your sights, right? Most EOTechs are designed to be co-witnessed with your standard M16 front triangle, fixed front sight post. If you want it higher, if you want it lower, you can, well, not so much lower. If you want your EOTech higher, you can actually get spacer brackets to go underneath it to raise it up. But easier, you can get yourself different height backup iron sights. But in general, I don't know why you're doing the hypothetical situation with it right now, because just look at it. And either it's going to work for you or it's not. What I mean by that is if it's co-witnessed, the argument is, well, you zero your iron sights first, and then when you put your EOTech on, all you've got to do is dial the red dot to your iron sights, and then you're dead on, you're perfect. And technically that's correct, but zero your red dot first, and then if your iron sights, either they're through co-witnessed or they're going to be what's called lower third, in which case you can still see them, and then aim them, zero them separately, right? And if you can't see them through the scope, for example, let's say you were running a low power variable optic. If I flip them up, even if they were completely zeroed, they're going to be blurry. So if you can't see through, or if they're blurry, depending on what you're running, run 45 iron sights, run a bracket and run a red dot off to the side, do something, but don't sweat it. Wait, get it on the gun and look for yourself. Don't take my word for it.
Yeah. What I found in everything, scientifically, it sounds correct. If your iron sights are zero, you should be able to bring the red dot sight to your iron sight, and the red dot sight should be dead on. What I found in my experience is that is not true, because you got 3 focal points, and then with the red dot sight, you have something that's parallax free, and you've got 2 focal points. And for some reason, I understand what you're saying about co-witness, but zero them both separately.
Yep. Turn off the EOTech, zero your iron sight. You got one here similar from Joe Tompkins. You guys have any experience with XS big dot sights? I'm looking for a sight upgrade for the P320 compact. Honestly, dude, all I'm going to push you towards is Trigicon HDs. They've got a really, really bright front dot that's got a tritium insert, and then it's got a robust rear sight. It's got tritium inserts. You need it, but it's designed so you can rack.
I thought it was.
You can rack on a barricade. You can rack on a holster. You can rack on the guy's eye socket. I don't care. But they're tough sights. The big dot sights, they sound great for speed at 7 meters. That's awesome. Honestly, you can point shoot at 7 meters.
Yeah.
Where you need to have perfect sight alignment is for very, very small targets at medium distances, or normal size targets at long distances. The guys that show up to class with those big sights, big dot sights, they all take them off by the end of it, because at the drill we do at the end of the day is called Final 5. Emery loves that drill. Steve loves that drill. You get 5 bullets to hit at 20 yards. It's 10-inch plate, head size plate. If you hit, you go back to 30. If you hit there, you go back to 40, then to 50, then to 60. And the guys that have those big dot sights, because you don't have anything to you're lollipopping a big dot. You don't have things, even though you can quickly line them up, you can't minutely double check perfect sight alignment with those sights. So honestly, I'm going to steer you away from them. Trigicon HD sights, that's what's on my SIG M18. And they're decent. They are very, very good. So I'm not going to steer you guys wrong on that. P320 is just like a Glock, guys. I run the same sights on all my guns. All right, American Top Gun. I recommend a company that makes custom duty holsters. I don't know of one that makes custom duty holsters. Do you guys?
There's the one Randy really loves down in Clarksville. What is it? Red
River, red.
Red River holsters. Red something. Jordan McAllister. What's up, brother? How you doing, Jordan?
Randy's gonna hate
Jordan
it.
McAllister threw down 20 bones for shits and giggles. And
Jordan's
Susan,
awesome.
I think that brings us up to date. What I mean by custom duty holsters is one.
I can't remember.
There's not a lot of companies that make good retention devices that I like. And for me, I have to have retention on my holsters. A lot of guys that do custom retention, they don't do it as well as Surefire does. So I don't have
Safari
a company
Land.
to. I'm sorry, Safariland. Safariland are the only duty holsters I'll recommend. I try all these other brands because I want to be able to give you guys options. I do. I want to be able to give you guys options, but I always end up giving the holster back going, no, not me. Emery texts me. He's going to be here in
I'm
30
minutes out.
He's 30 minutes out.
30 minutes ago.
All right. Hey, Carl. Adam Landwich here. Hope you are amazing, sir. What is the range location of the pistol carbine course in Clarksville, Tennessee? Booking my hotel now. And I get that question a lot, guys. If you're going to be attending the and we do classes all over the place, but if you're attending them here in Clarksville, Tennessee, the range is called Montgomery County Shooting Complex. It's out in the middle of nowhere. You basically go to Randy Worst's house, drive a little ways past it till the squirrel runs across the road, and then you take a left, and then you drive past the Hells Angels bar. Serious as a heart attack. And it sounds worse than it is. It's a really, really nice range. It's called Montgomery County Shooting Complex. It is.
What county is that in?
I think it might be Montgomery. It might be Montgomery.
Yeah, it's MCSC.com, I think is what it is. And just look up Montgomery County Shooting Complex.
They're awesome.
As far as hotels, I don't have a hotel to recommend the students to stay because it's only an hour from my house. So understand, guys, when I go to Texas for 10 days because we teach a lot of back-to-back classes. So when I'm teaching a class here that's an hour away from my home, my wife wants me to come home so we can visit.
I think the closest set of hotels is going to be looking to Clarksville, Tennessee hotels, and look at the hotels down on Riverside Drive.
Yep.
Those are going to be the closest to where you go up Riverside Drive, go across the bridge, and then when you pass the road where there's two armadillos next to the road, then you get to the road where Carl talking about where the squirrel runs, then you're close.
There we go. Carl, can you ask Emery if he liked that custom Air Pro that he posted on Instagram where he showed it getting squirted into his ear? Was it any good?
So we both got a pair, actually.
You want me to go first? I'll be more politically correct.
I'm politically correct, Carl. I'm nice. Look, the bottom line is, do I use it for classes? No. Is it good? Yes, it's good for certain applications. If I'm going out to shoot shotgun or whatever, awesome. Yes.
Shotgun.
Yeah.
This is the tactical rifleman show.
What they are, they're basically a hard rubber polymer, but she completely fills your ear canal. You go to most shooting matches, a lot of gun shows, stuff like that. There's usually somebody there that for $100 will squirt the stuff in on the spot. They make you a good set of this Ear Pro. I'll tell you, I like them if I'm going to be doing a lot of Berets 50 cal work, if I'm going to be doing a lot of crew serve machine guns, because that's what damages your hearing. It's not the one loud noise. It's the over and over and over again. How hearing loss happens, guys, is your inner ear, it's a fluid. And it's got, if you put it under a microscope, there are lots of little fine nerve endings like hairs. Think of them like hairs, but I really want you to think of them those fine nerve endings as blades of grass. So you get one loud explosion goes off, your ears ring because a couple of them have snapped off and it's now innervated, but eventually it goes away, right? But the rest of them all moved from that shock, that loud noise. And think of it like grass. If you keep walking on grass, one footprint doesn't kill all the grass. It's everybody always walking, the repetitive gunfire, boom, boom, boom. And after a while, you've snapped off too many of them, and now you end up having permanent hearing loss. The reason why I don't use it,
I just learned something new. I didn't know that.
Really?
I was at 18 Delta.
Tactical Rifleman Show.
Right. I don't use them in classes because I have to wear electronic ear pro because I need to be able to, even
hear.
wearing ear pro, I need to be able to hear if somebody else sees fire. I need to be able to hear questions that the students have. So, Susan, to answer your question, we have them. I wear mine when I mow the yard. I wear them when I ride the Bobcat. I wear them when I'm out shooting full auto guns and stuff, which we got to play with that M3 grease gun here. Mm-hmm. I wear them from time to time, but not in classes because I have to be able to hear my students to my left and right. Now, understand, they block sounds a lot better than my electronic ear pro, and I've got 3 different brands of electronic ear pro. They do not block noise as well as those form-fitted ones do. But it is what it is.
So here's the thing, right? I mean, if the cool thing about these is they're comfy, right? Because they're molded to your ear.
Yeah.
So they're comfy, and they don't protect quite as well, like Carl's saying, as some of the other ones, some of the overheads. They do allow you to actually hear what's going on better than some of the old school in-ear ones. But what that also means, considering they're not active hearing pro, there's no microphone, there's no electronic components to amplify ambient noise. That means they're not going to protect as well for certain things. So if you're shooting a rifle, no. For pistol, I think they're probably fine. I've been shooting a lot of pistol with them, and that's nice. But yeah, I mean, if you really need to hear your surroundings in kind of a tactical environment, whether it's a class or actual, combat type stuff, that's not the choice you should make.
No. I recommend them under your electronic earmuffs if you're at like an indoor range shooting AR.
Yeah, exactly.
Next question from Brian. What's all three's final 5 drill personal best? How far do you usually get back, Emery? Or no, not. He wants your personal best. What's your personal best?
Personal best?
Personal best at final 5.
Personal best was $120.
120.
That was my personal best. I don't get there often. Recently I've sucked. I'll get to 70, 80, 90 normal. I've definitely sucked worse than that often. I've tagged out sometimes at 50. My personal best was 120 that one time at Montgomery County. But that's yeah.
I get a little past that.
He's a good shot. You get to 120. All right, this asshole. All right, I'll take over. This asshole every time. Forget personal best. Every time gets to 100 yards or 100 meters. Support hand only.
And sometimes.
And somebody was doing this symbol.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll do 1 yard line support hand, and then I'll do the next strong, and then I'll go support. And then going I did that with Coach in Texas just to piss Coach off. And I got first round hits all the way back to 130. And Coach was fuming. He was freaking pissed. And that was the limit of the range. That was as far back as we could go. And I knew there was no way I could do it again. So we stopped there, stopped the class. Because I had I think we'd gotten down to the last student. It was the last student. I mean, I was like, all right, guys, time to wrap it up, right? And I went over to the coach. I was like, because he was pissed. He was pissed because I was switching hands at each yard line, and
You do that often.
First round hits all the way back to 130, and he was pissed because he was out at like 90 or 100. But
Which
I told
is
him,
good.
I'm like, Coach, you understand. There's no way I could do that again. There's no way. And there are days that I don't get to 100.
Here's the
but
thing
you
with that,
need
though.
to know your limits.
The thing with Final Five and shooting at long distance like that is it is all about your focus. So literally, and I know some of you guys are going to call bullshit on this, but you're wrong. Literally, if all your mechanics are correct, right? You're aiming, your grip is maybe a little less important for this, but
Because you're only doing one shot at a time.
yeah. So you're aiming and your trigger pull must be perfect, like perfect. And so if you think you're awesome because you're nailing that headshot at 20 yards on the range, which is good, right? That's good shooting. When you start doing Final Five, if your thought process is not correct, like if you're thinking about anything other than the specific tasks you have to do, like for example, if you're thinking about hitting, you're going to miss. You have to think about the exact process, and you have to really have mental patience with yourself to allow that process to happen.
Yeah. All right, and Steve's gone. Steve gets out to about 100 with us. Steve's a good shot. Next one is $2 from Enya Face. What you guys' fitness programs look like? Guys, I used to weigh 220. Now I weigh. I'm fat. I've been eating good lately, so I'm back up to 200. But I'm usually about 190. But I lost all my muscle. Because I'm a fag now, former action guy. But I'm also 55 years old. I'll be 55 in 2 weeks. What I mean by that is I have got 30 years of injuries where I can't do heavy weights anymore. So I can't push heavy weights to maintain muscle mass. I can't run anymore to do cardio for my heart. So what you do is you do a lot of gun yoga, moving with the gun. I do kettlebells. I have a rowing machine because, again, I can't run because my knees are shot, my ankles are shot. So I do rowing machine. You guys hear me going I kayaked yesterday from 4th of July. I also kayaked the same river the day prior to make sure the river was clear. I started mountain biking with my son. It's something I can do with him and my wife. I mountain bike with my wife also. But the big thing is I can't do heavy weights. I got to do light weights, heavier reps, core. Take what you want to be able to do, and I need to be able to fight. So take all those movements and maintain the ability to do that. And what I mean by that is I've had guys come out to classes 300 pounds solid muscle. I mean ripped, 1% body fat, ripped. And by the end of the day, they're puppies, whipped puppies. Why? Because not only are they holding that gun up, they're holding those arms up all day long. And moving a gun and being able to high ready, low ready, and be fluid with it. Strength is done by large muscles, but the fluid movement is what they call accessory muscles. They're all these smaller muscles. There are hundreds of them. And by you using that gun, bringing the gun up, pressing it out, bringing that rifle up and locking it in, you're using muscles that you don't work in the gym. So somebody that's new to shooting, don't get frustrated when you're tired and you're sore the next day. And no, you're not going to keep up with the old crusty instructor that's been doing this every day for 30 years. We have. But the big thing is we have to maintain that. I'm getting ready to retire, and I hit 40 years old. And I can still put on the body armor and run around with my assaulters, but the next day I'd be hurting bad. I hit 45. I could still run out with the body armor, do everything, but then I was hurt so bad for the next 3 days. Then I hit 50 And I get up every morning and I hurt so bad every day that it doesn't matter now. I can do whatever the fuck I want because I'm going to hurt anyways. So I put on the body armor. I still run around. I do stupid stuff. But anyways, that's my personal... I do a lot of gun yoga. I do a lot of gun yoga and kettlebells, cables in the gym. That's what I've got, cables in here in my exercise room. Lots of kettlebells, free weights, but nothing heavy. I don't do anything heavy. How about you, Emery? You just do hookers and blow and cigarettes. He's more about diet.
Yeah, seafood diet. I have not seen the inside of a gym since I left the Army. I work.
Yeah.
What we do is physical, and it's every day pretty much. So, to be honest with you, I mean, if I run a class, then, if I do a drill, let's say where you have to run, stop, shoot, that kind of stuff, I'm literally running that with every single student. Yeah. If I have to show people how to pick people up and that kind of stuff, I do that with every single student. Our daily stuff when we go out to the range, all that stuff. So it's, to me, and I know it's unorthodox and, everybody today is about, go to the gym. Go to the gym. It's good for you. I don't do it.
Not so much the gym, exercise.
Yeah, exercise.
Get
you
out
gotta move.
and exercise.
Move the carcass, and that's the big thing, move around, push yourself a little bit.
There's no pill you can buy. There's no special gun you can buy. There's no special ammo you can buy that will help you win the fight.
Move your ass.
You have to be able to fight. All right. Yep. Next question. Without further ado, do any of these fine gentlemen do any contract work?
How about not for the internet?
Yeah. How about that? Yes. All right. We're gonna move on to the next one. The trauma factor. Would you ever take an 80% build you built yourself from scratch in the battle, or is that suicide for reliability? Here's the deal. I'm not big on, and I'm not saying don't do 80% because I have some, and I think that's cool. If it's like loading ammo, all right, you want to reload, cool. But I encourage everybody to build an AR. I want you to literally put every spring, every detent, every capture, put the pistol grip on, put everything together. And the reason why I want you to do that, build one, because if you're ever in that gunfight with your good Daniel Defense gun or your TR1 or your Adams Arms or whatever gun you're at in the gunfight, in the dark, rain coming down, and all of a sudden your gun shits the bed, instead of it just being, oh, it's broken, I need to bring it to a mechanic. If you've actually built one from scratch and you have the mental image of what could possibly be going on. Now, that said, I want you to build it so that you learn. It's for educational purposes. I would never bring one of my guns that I built. That would never be my primary work gun. All right, now, understand if that was my budget, if that's all I had, then yeah, okay, because, well, that, and you understand I've got 30 years behind an AR, 40 years now. God, it was 85. So what's that? 35 years?
90 years.
9 years. That's
90
years. 90 years. I got 90 years behind an AR. But no, seriously, your work gun needs to be the most reliable blaster you can come up with. These guys that go, well, I want to save money, so I want to buy an 80% gun because I don't want the government to have my serial number. Guys, you understand how many millions of ARs and pistols and everything are out there? They don't give a shit.
Well, hold on. Let me address that a second too.
Okay.
So, in my experience, look, first of all, let's make a distinction between combat in the military sense and combat in the EDC, CCW sense. In my opinion, weigh in on this. In my opinion, for EDC stuff, there's nothing wrong with an 80% lower as long as you have shot the shit out of it and
make sure it's reliable.
Trust it, right?
Yeah.
So for EDC, I got no problem with it as long as you have built the trust with yours. I will say that I've seen quite a number of 80% Glock type lowers crack.
Polymer 80s have become famous for shit in the bed.
So I've seen that a bunch. I don't own any, just because I don't, because I can't put the beaver tail thing on there, and I'm sick of scarring my hand. Because I have hands of like a human being, not like a little girl.
I have a 80% arms. Basically, they're PT 19, whatever it is.
It's a sweetheart. That's a gorgeous little gun.
It's a beautiful gun.
Yeah.
The only thing I changed on it is obviously the sights, and I put an optic on it. It's got an enclosed 507 with the Vulcan reticle, and I have a threaded 509. I have a threaded barrel for it, and the only reason why I have the threaded barrel for it is so when I'm playing, sometimes I'll put a suppressor on it. But also, if I'm going on weird trips, I toss my suppressor in my go bag. But anyways, I've ran that thing as my EDC pistol. I started just trying it out at the range, and I got confident with it because it never jammed. It ran very, very well. So I did it more as I was testing it out to see if I wanted to do a video on it. If you guys go back and look, I did do a video on it. I still carry it to this day. Now, one thing I will say, though, is I did not build that gun. They make them, the kits, for you to be able to build them. But when I can't do a video, me making one, YouTube would immediately flag it and take it down. So what they did was 80% Arms built it, made sure it ran reliably, and then they sent it to me. So I knew I got a sweetheart, and it does run awesome. It really does. All right, we got a couple more came in. All right, this guy. All right, Marcos Quintana just threw down $1.99 for shits and giggles. I appreciate it. Guys, understand you don't have to pay. You don't have to pay to do a super chat. You put a question. If you got a good question, put it in the chat room, and Susan will send it to us. Like, for example, right here. Someone asking for a quick rundown on Emery's tattoos. Sorry, I lost a photo of who it was. And reminder to do giveaway if you're still doing it.
We are doing a giveaway.
I'll tell you what. Honest, guys, if you're really interested in Emery's tattoos, one, that's gay. That's some, and no, there are other channels for that. Emery, here's the deal, guys. Emery has his own Patreon. You go to Patreon/Emery Morgenstern, or what, Prime Combat Training.
No, it's Emery. It's my name.
And patreon.com/Emery Morgenstern. A lot of my patrons for Tactical Riflemen are supporters of Emery. And you understand, that's the kind of stuff they can get into there. But I really understand, I'm trying to drink good coffee. I don't want to get nauseous, y'all talking about Emery's nipples and the stuff the tattoos that go around his nipples. No,
oh, no.
We're not doing that.
No,
we're not doing that.
I didn't even know it. I don't want to.
No, but the one on the...
Because I don't want something I can't...
The big...
can't unsee.
The big catfish face that goes around his asshole. I mean, it's like two cheeks of catfish. We're not doing it here.
Kidding.
We're not.
You're kidding, right?
We're not doing
You are
that
kidding, right?
He is kidding.
I'm kidding, but not.
Well, we can use Emery's tattoo.
Or is he?
Reference to Emery tattoo to be part of the giveaway. So Emery's tattoo or gay.
I'll tell you what though.
No.
Emery, you guys know we use Emery not just for CQB and stuff like that, but also knife fighting, Krav Maga, stuff like that. But Emery's also, he's passionate about knives. How do you get passionate about something? You get deep into it. Emery actually designs knives. You got one of them here?
I do. So I actually used to be a knife maker. That was my previous business.
You still are a knife maker, but now you got other people making knives.
Right. Yeah, I used to bang them out. And
I wish he had his karambit. You're one that you made.
The Damascus one?
Yeah, dude, it's got this leather sheath on it. It looks like Jesus himself made it.
It took me 3 weeks just to come up with a design for that sheath. But yeah, no, I love it. I love knives.
Is that
I
one
love
of yours
making
right
knives.
there?
That's one of mine.
Is that the same one that I keep
That's
in,
a Gen
in the
2.
vehicle?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes, it
I
is.
have one of his karambits. He gave me one. I actually keep it for
I didn't know you
for people that come visit my vehicle. And actually, it's right there. So if
Don't
somebody
show them
decides to ask me to get out of my vehicle, I'll get out.
That's nice.
I will with a smile on my face. I've never cut anybody with a karambit.
Well,
Hey,
maybe,
Steve,
maybe it's about time. Steve's
show
about
it.
to cut somebody with a karambit.
Steve, show it
So-
to them. Steve's over here
All right.
checking it out.
So here's today's giveaway. May I have a second? I'll give it back to you to play. Hey, added value. Steve finger fucked your karambit. Whoever wins it.
Whoever wins this karambit, Steve Holland, the SF Legacy, has given you some of his karma. Without a doubt.
with a K. Karma with a K.
Karma with a K.
All right, let's do this.
All right.
Steve,
Show-
do you want
show him
to
the
be
case.
the
No,
Vanna?
You
Vanna White. Vanna White. That's
Vanna
what I was
White.
going for.
You know, Vanna White's got a
T-
nicer ass than
Stop-
Steve.
stop.
I'm just
I
saying.
don't know,
No,
man. He's got a
No,
pooper on
man.
him.
I
Hey,
don't know.
I'm like Captain America. This is America's ass. All right?
So that means all of America gets to share that one ass? So start with it closed.
No,
and then
when
do
he
the,
stands
like,
out, all of America gets blocked out. The sun blocks it out.
Yeah.
Check this out.
It's
So
what they
to start-
call
hold on.
a lunar eclipse.
Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. The Ouroboros.
Yeah.
That's our logo for this knife. This knife comes in, for those of you guys who are not familiar with this, we've made 2 designs.
This is the Gen 2.
This is the Gen 2. This goes for just under $500. So it's a $500 giveaway. We call it the Karma. There's no meaning to us doing it with a K. It's
It's
just,
a pretty
it's our little thing.
magnetically closed box, but
Yeah.
let's show them the knife. Let's
Wait a
show
minute. This is $500 giveaway?
That's a
Wait a
$500
minute.
knife.
Let me log on to the website.
All right, what is the phrase? Emery has sexy tattoos. Make sure you use proper grammar.
Emery's
Emery
tattoos.
has sexy tattoos.
And you got to spell my name right.
Emery's tattoos bring me karma.
IRMI.
For those of us who are really dyslexic.
Emery's
It's
tattoos.
IMRI.
Emery's tattoos bring me karma. Bring me karma. Please bring me karma.
Good karma.
At $500, please bring me. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. All right, guys. Look at that son of a gun right
Flip
there.
it over a second.
Good googly moogly.
Gosh.
That it's got his little logo on it. Man, that thing.
Yep, they're
Dude, I
serialized. They're numbered, all of them. It's a minimal production. There's not a lot of those made. And I have decided to give one of you lucky blokes or gals a
lucky
chance to have one.
patriots.
So
That's a badass.
do you want me to
knife.
here?
That's a
Let me
badass
let me
knife.
give
Give them
let
a
me give a
class,
couple
give
of
them a class
details.
on-
So
give
this,
some
by the
details.
way, is not a cut from a karambit. That happened yesterday on the river.
Emery, yeah. Slow down. Emery has sexy tattoos. Emery has sexy tattoos. Emery has sexy tattoos. All right, you're right, Susan. I should have picked a different term. I'm sorry.
All right, so the Gen 2, let's start with the steel. The steel here is S3V, so it's a really sexy, it's one of the sexier steels out there today. Oh, shit.
Sexy and
Sharp.
Go it.
You just cut yourself with it.
No.
Now it has Steve's karma and Emery's DNA.
DNA.
All right.
So, the way so this is modeled, that knife that Carl was referring to, the Damascus karambit that I handmade, that I still carry, that's the basis for the design for this. And let me give credit where credit is due to begin with. I learned about karambits and the use of them and making and designing karambits from my teacher, Steve, not this Steve Rollert out in Colorado. And I learned a lot from this guy, but not on the knife world. So I got super into karambits. I love karambits. They're awesome. And if you guys want to learn how to play with them, we can play. But so that's the idea. A lot of people make karambits, a lot of custom knife makers, but they get the blade geometry incorrect for use. Okay, it may look pretty, but it's for use. B, what everybody gets wrong is the handle design, and more specifically, the design of the ring. So, yeah, there's some play. We did a lot of stuff here for looks as well as function. I design everything for function, and looks are kind of secondary. I designed these together with Lotar Combat Knives, and that's who makes these. And that's an Israeli SF brother of mine who lives in LA. So it's an American-owned company, but he served in Israeli SF, not in my unit, but I actually have done a lot of ops with his unit, and they're awesome. And Carl's jealous, I know. So that was the basis for the design. The idea is that you get a really solid grip. Not only do you have a really good aggressive cut that works really well with a lot of body mechanics, but anytime, even if I hold it in my offhand, you'll see if I'm facing off with somebody, that tip is pointed right at that guy. So even if I'm just going, oh shit, and blocking, the tip of this blade is going right where they're trying to hit. So even with
Somebody punching, hitting that right there, you understand that would suck.
yeah,
That would suck.
So that's that in terms of, you know, even if you don't know how to use a karambit, if you weren't formally trained, it's still a awesome weapon. I love this thing. So
If you're just chiming in, what you need to be writing, Emery's getting ready to give this away. We're gonna draw at 9:30, and so you got 30 minutes. And the phrase is Emery has sexy tattoos.
and you got to spell the name right.
Got to
you
spell the
know
name
it.
right.
I'll tell it to you one more time. It's
IMRI.
IMRI.
And one of the things I
IMRI.
want to point out is, if you guys remember on the previous shows, I always show some kind of blade device, knife, whether it's fixed or folding. And of course, Randy, he loves it.
He loves
And
his
Emery
knives.
talks about grip, and I've talked about that a lot, especially on my tactical belt on the Tanto that's inside the front by the buckle for defensive purposes. And I talk about grip and the way it's shaped, because most knives don't address the grip. In a fight, you're going to be sweaty. When you start cutting and you start getting cut, there's going to be blood. And blood is as slippery as syrup. Hot syrup, if you ever had hot syrup.
Until it dries.
Until it dries.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, grip is the most important thing, because most of the knives that you see, and you know, I've seen shown cold steel knives, that it's going to go.
Most
It's gonna
knife
go.
makers are not knife fighters.
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
right? Check this out. So, Steve, I don't know. Have you played with this before? With this knife? No.
Emery,
First time.
I did not know you made knives.
Really? I'm
Really?
sorry, brother.
When have we ever had a knife discussion?
Roger that. You're right.
So if
You're right.
if I knew you made knives, we would be having knife discussions.
Then we would be friends.
Oh no,
I love you, man.
No,
I
I
love
love you too, man. But always on the show, I'm always talking about knives. And instead of I'm saying, okay, tonight is this one. The guy would say, hey, what's Steve having his haversack? I said, well, I got this, I got that. So I would have said, hey, here's one of Emery's knives. I didn't know.
Well, I appreciate that. We'll have some chats.
Okay.
We'll have some chats.
We will.
So, all right, let's move on with this.
Okay.
The Gen 2, what makes the Gen 2 different from the Gen 1? First of all, the steel, right? We went with an S3V as opposed to a CPM D2, which I totally love CPM D2. That was my steel of choice, but he wanted to make a fancier version. I don't think S3V is superior to CPM D2, so that's a powdered steel, as is this. This is CPM D2, but S3V. Let's talk about design features, though. So we've removed, you'll see this, we've removed a little bit of the meat here, and
Scallop.
it looks cool. It looks cool,
But
but
has a purpose.
it has a purpose, and the purpose is the correct balance, right? It's the correct feel in the hand of this knife. It's not the balance in terms of the balance point of the knife, because karambits balance differently from regular knives. One of the features that I'm most proud of is these teeth on the back here. And on the Gen 1, these teeth are wide, okay? They're grabby. And the whole purpose is weapons, is human retention, right? Give me that limb, take it, right? Give me that head, give me that arm, give me that hand, give me that heel.
It's not for cutting wood, guys.
It's not for cutting wood. It's not a saw. It's teeth for holding flesh. They dig in and they hold. What we did on this one, we got a lot of requests while we were talking to people about, just saying that we're in the process of making them, was they wanted a double-edged knife. And the Gen 1 and the karambits I make in general they only have the one cutting edge on the inside here, because that's really the only surface in a karambit in my use that to me is the real cutting edge. That's the weapon, right? Other than, of course, your steel knuckle here. But a lot of people wanted a double-edged knife. And karambits originate, for those of you guys who don't know, in Southeast Asia. So Indonesia, Malaysia, and the Philippines in different designs. And a lot of the earlier ones, a lot of the original ones were double-edged. The real original ones were not, because they were tools, not weapons. But so I don't usually make them with a sharp edge on the back here, mainly because it makes it more, it makes it legal in more states to carry concealed. Colorado, for example, where I used to live, you cannot conceal a blade over 3.5 inches edge to edge, and it can't be double-edged. So I make them single edge, but I added the teeth for the actual use for human retention.
All right, can they still get?
We have Gen 1s.
Gen 1.
We have Gen 1s. I have Gen 1s. You guys, you can buy them directly from me. I have limited quantities. I have limited quantities. So here, the teeth are sharpened, and so these teeth are sharpened, which, to be honest, looks way better. It looks sexier. And there's a cutting edge here as well. It's not quite as sharp as the front one, but it'll cut through jeans, jackets down to the bone and all that. I know I cut myself often. So also in the Gen 2, we have the scales here. The handles are made of aluminum, black anodized aluminum, and we have cleared out the middle here to reduce a little bit of weight, but really it's a feeling thing. And this is kind of like the Ferrari version of the Gen 1, which to me, the Gen 1, I that's what I designed. But
not knowing to this point that you make knives and we hang out and we shoot and do stuff together all the time. And I'm a big karambit fan. I have a karambit. Excuse me, I don't have it on me right now. It is I think it's a 511 karambit. This is well made. I mean, this is
thank you,
freaking solid.
Lotar combat knives. By the way, they make a lot of other knives. Those of you guys who
it's really well made.
Come to classes and that kind of stuff, you'll see on my gun belts, I have other Lotar combat knives on all of my gun belts. And
I had guys asking if the prizes, the other giveaways have gone out yet. And the short answer is no. I have got a Patreon giveaway of a muzzle brake and a charging handle. Last Tactical Tuesday's giveaway, a muzzle brake and a charging handle. There's something that goes out. I found a med kit for Miss Britcher. And then this giveaway tonight, they're all going to go in the mail tomorrow, right? I had to have my son work on a video today, and it's been a holiday, guys. I was not going to make my son work over Independence Weekend.
Thank you, brother.
I mean, it's a great design, but the craftsmanship is.
And I can't tell you much about the design of the manufacturing, because there's some things I can't get into, but they are not made in China. They're not.
Nope.
They are not made in China. They're made by a super pro who's an SF brother. Let me show you what else is in the box.
But wait, there's more.
There's more. First of all, I don't care about packaging. I don't give a shit. I care about the tool. Having said that, I think that Lotar Combat does such a good job at it that I'm actually excited about it. I think it's such an awesome. We waited. The knives came in months ago, And we waited to put them out until this packaging, you know, all the COVID shit and whatever held up the packaging. So anyway,
broke the tip off your knife, dude. No,
Yeah,
I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm
luck with
joking.
that.
It's still there. I haven't broke it.
Broke
I'm
the
joking.
desk, not the knife.
yeah. So we have a Kydex sheath. The Kydex sheath actually has our Ouroboros logo burned into it. And
That's sexy.
the retention
Yeah,
on this sheath is spectacular.
Sexy.
You see on the bottom here, you see a little drain hole. So it comes with a belt clip. If you show the back side of it, right, that's a Tech-Lock style belt clip. A lot of people love those. That's not my preference for knives,
Yeah.
but we give you that option because it's the most popular.
Yeah.
But the knife also comes with an actual Kydex belt loop, okay? And there's a little baggie with the hardware to mount it, okay? Spare hardware.
This is not as sexy, guys, but this is, for me, especially like an EDC knife outside the waistband. That's gonna be sexy.
Yeah, and I carry these
Then,
inside the waistband.
yeah.
Yep. So that's what's in the box, and all the ones that are bought for me. I know it's like not a big deal, but it's just my personal touch. I signed the inside of the box here. You know, so you know it came from me.
You get
It's-
an autograph from Emery Morgan.
It's not an autograph in the sense that I'm like famous, but it's my touch. Here, it's a knife that came from me, and there's my little touch.
You
So,
could probably get Steve to autograph that too.
oh, that's a great idea. Do you have a silver marker?
I don't have a silver one, but I got a black one.
Yeah, that's not gonna work.
Black on black.
I'll find something. We'll try to get Steve to sign it for
Hold
you.
on. I got
It's got to show up. It can't be a job.
glue stick. I
How
got
about a pink,
white out. You want pink highlighter?
How about a?
pink gauge?
Hey, you
Whoop,
leave my
whoop, whoop,
passport alone.
Pink
Lucky
gauge.
boy.
That's your old retired one. It's got a hole in it.
Yeah, I know. Let me put that back in the box so my son don't mail the box.
Here,
without
That is a
the-
nice setup.
Guys,
You know I'm always showing knives. That is a nice setup. I'm impressed.
Thank you, brother.
You're welcome, brother. I did not know. I did not.
So let me one safety thing. Let me give you a safety note. Okay. What everybody wants to do with karambits is flip them. Oh yeah, it's so much fun. Let me do it this way without, right? Flip.
Let me. I don't know.
Oh, there's the flip. Okay, it looks really cool. It's bullshit for combat. Okay, don't ever use the flippy do. Don't think that you're going to be fancy in combat. Combat's ugly and it's supposed to be ugly. Okay, safe, graceful for football. But when you do want to play with them and flip them around, because when you put this in your hand, you will want to. Trust me. Don't do it with a live blade. I have tons of scars, little scars right here, okay, from sticking myself with the knife when you're flipping it back, okay? When you do, just like shooting, keep that wrist straight and stiffened, because the second you give it a little bit of flex here, that knife is going to flip back and hit you right in the arm. So don't flip a live blade if you don't know how to do it. Go to keenedgeknives.com and pick yourself up a training karambit, okay? And the Keen Edge Knives, by the way, that's my teacher Steve who taught me about these. That's his company, all right?
All right. You know,
It's
Susan,
like fire, man.
we're at 9:12.
Play with it.
Susan, we're going to draw this at 9:15, please. We're going to draw it at 9:15.
Let him go with it.
No, I'm not going to let him go with it. No, I want to give this one away. They have waited long enough. All right, here, no, I'll tell you what, though, Susan. My problem I have, because it's a nice knife. It's a nice knife, but you realize we only got 344 likes. 344 likes. That's pretty sad. I'm just saying, that's pretty sad. 344. They might not like your knife.
That's
Yes,
sad
sir.
if you were British,
British.
but we're American.
We got 3,094 views, but we've only got 348
We got
likes.
3,000. How many American views? Independence Day view.
And Australian.
And Australian, and the Czechs, and the Ukraine, and the
It's okay,
the
guys.
British.
Yeah, get those, get them in quick. It's gonna be awesome. We're gonna do the giveaway here, guys. Understand this is not a company donating this stuff. It's not.
me.
Emory had, I think, half of them went to him, and then he's supposed to be selling them to put money into his
not
pocket.
half. I got a lot less than half.
You got a lot less than
That's not
half.
relevant. This is, by the way,
This
for
is
those
Emery
of you
doing
guys
a
who know,
giveaway for
this
you
is
guys.
Truck Fund. This is the knives that I'm selling are so that I can replace my poor old truck.
Yeah. So on that note, we actually had that come in as a question. Let me fix that
What's that?
screen a little bit here, guys. The question actually came in is Emery got his truck yet?
I have not,
And,
because I'm trying to be responsible. So I'm putting together the down payment, and that's coming along. And I'm also waiting. I've been in contact with a good friend of Carl's who is helping me source the truck, and apparently this model's taken a minute. It's not like the super fancy souped up one, but
What are you trying to get?
a Tundra.
I love Tundra.
Toyota Tundra. It's a good truck. It's a good truck.
I have a Tacoma.
love 'em
Guys, if you're
because
not-
you get a quad, right?
I want the
Doors?
full bed. No, I want
You
the
want a
full
full
bed.
bed?
The bed's more important to
Kind
me.
of like Randy's.
I don't want to be a designated driver.
So
Kind of like Randy's.
I have Emery pull the Target trailer to classes, and he's got a beat up old truck. He's literally lived out of the truck before up in the mountains.
My air conditioning died today, so that was great.
Yeah, he loved that. He still hasn't gotten his truck yet, guys. So, all right, Matthew Dion. Hey, Carl, if the SIF company wasn't available when you were in, would you have gone to Delta? Short answer, maybe. Long answer, one, even if I said I would go, that doesn't necessarily mean I would have passed selection, number one. Number two, when I was in ANOC, our Advanced Non-Commissioned Officer School, my best friend there in the course, his name was Rod Gorman. Rod Gorman was from CAG, and he invited me over for dinner one day. He's going to do prime rib. We're best buds. We're best buds. He's an awesome guy. And I went to go went down for dinner. His wife and him had cooked prime rib. And as soon as I showed up, I sat down at the couch. As soon as I sat down on the couch, in walked these four big dudes. I mean, big dudes. Dressed like Emery, but in like little PT shorts and something. They just started, I'm like, okay, other guys for dinner. Hey, Carl, nice to meet you. And they just start asking me questions. I'm like, all right, that's a little personal. And then at the end, they're like, all right, you're still going to have to go do the long walk. That's what they call selection. You're going to have to go do the long walk, but we want you in our squadron. And it turns out that was his troop sergeant major, his troop commander, and some other guys from his squadron, Rod Gorman. And I was like, guys, I appreciate it. I wish Rob had asked me, but Bragg's an unaccompanied tour. My wife told me during the Q course she would never come back to Fort Bragg. And that was the cool part, because I got to go to the SIF company, and though I was never Delta, never Tier 1, I got to do a lot of the same mission sets, but still be able to be here at Fort Campbell with my wife, with her family. And honest, that's best blessing I ever could have had, because I'm coming up on 31 years of marriage to a woman who put up with me, and she's awesome. And yeah, there's no way my marriage would have lasted. And I got to do lots of great stuff with 5th Group that honestly I wouldn't have been able to do. Delta does not do all the stuff that 5th Group did.
No, they don't.
No, they do not. So
and I think the interesting part is,
I don't know. Spit it out, Steve.
In the 5th Group, okay, and all the other groups know.
That's a good question.
They said it 5th. I know a lot of guys that got invited to the long walk. I got invited to the long walk. Had no desire whatsoever. I mean, I work with these guys all the time, a lot, and to include,
Barbecues.
I don't think I would have made it.
I don't the dev group guys, and
I don't think I have the personality for it.
We all.
I'm too loud.
You have too many
We
personalities.
were all,
Yeah, I have too many voices.
working toward the same thing. And in my retrospect, once I left an A team and started combat development, I got to deal with their combat development side, but I also got to meet a lot of the other guys. And some guys I knew that were 5th group that went over. And, I knew guys that transitioned. I knew a lot of guys that didn't. 5th group is its own entity. It has a culture that's all 5th group. And it's hard to say that any other unit out there, and no disrespect to anybody out there, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, doesn't matter to me. It's not the same. It's just not the same culture. Yeah. And if you grew up in 5th group,
that's true for every
you
unit.
put up against other groups, but like 1st group and 7th group, they all know that they're like, oh yeah, our group is awesome, but we're not as awesome as 5th group. They all know it.
Well, and the one thing is,
no, that's just the truth.
No, but
that's
the truth is, in 1st group and 7th group, I mean, you're in Central and South America.
They got
you're hanging out.
You know why these guys are saying this? Because the groups are per region, right?
Yeah.
Right? Think about what you have to look at in their region. Not much. I've been there, by the way, once or twice.
There you go.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about it when I got here today. I said, I stepped out of the car and only a 5th group person would understand what I said. Man, it's Djibouti hot.
Djibouti hot. Djibouti.
It's Djibouti hot.
It was with the heat index. It was 112 degrees here today. David told me what at dinner. 112. I'm like, no, but at 5 p.m. it dropped to 110. So David's like, well, it's cooling down. I'm like 110.
So only a 5th group guy would understand these two terms: Africa hot
and Djibouti hot.
Djibouti. When you go Djibouti, when they say Africa hot, 5th group guy was like, yeah, bro.
That's some hot shit.
But when you go
there.
Djibouti hot, oh Lord, that's a whole other level. Somebody from 7th group down in Costa Rica, Colombia, Venezuela, Argentina. Dude, how's 5th group guys doing, man? It's Djibouti hot over there.
Yeah, but they got something else that's
give me
hot
another
over
Mai
there.
Tai.
Yeah, yeah. All right, Sebastian Weiss threw down $5 just to say strength and honor. I appreciate that, dude. Jordan McAllister threw down 20 bones. Emery, can you tase Carl?
Yes.
How about no? Moving on.
It's two of us here. Why
Malabanian.
Emery and Steve tase Carl?
Good point. But he's saying that because I got tased last time.
What experience, observed or actual, do each of you have with FN? You guys should be listening right now.
I'm listening.
Because this is for all of y'all.
You tased
We're passing
Not
notes.
me. I didn't tase. I've never tased Emery.
That is true.
Not one time.
That is true.
Don't you reach your.
I got.
Well, we talking about tasing.
All right. What? All right. Listen. This is for you two.
Okay.
What experience, observed or actual use, do each of you have with FN FALs, either downrange or square range?
Okay.
I got it. I got this one.
Yeah.
All right. You go ahead.
Okay.
Steve.
I recently had a conversation. I can't remember where I was, but I believe when we were at Berets for the TR Live show.
Okay.
And I made a comment. And somebody asked me about the 6.8 system that's coming online with SIG, which is the 6.8 by 51, which I did the 6.8 by 43, and I did the 6.8 by 51. And we talked about platforms, not just the ammunition, platforms. And I tried to explain to them that when we were in Vietnam, the M16 of Eugene Stoner, God bless him, that platform was originally designed for the indigenous personnel of Vietnam who was of small stature. Not a transition to the Americans. Now, we had the M14, which the M14 was a bastardization by the U.S. ordnance people who think they're gun designers and they're not, of the M1 Garand. So the M1 Garand was great. They tried to make it into something it wasn't. And they put the magazine on it, got it. Everything else would go into the Italian version of, I think, a BM-59. During those trials, when they went to the 7.62 by 51, which is the NATO .308 Winchester, away from the 30-06, my thought is, during those trials, when they went through all the different rifles, the M14 should have never been selected. The FNFAL was part of that down select process. somehow, some way, it got caught up in some other kind of political deal, like the M9. We got the M9 because the Italians wanted some F-16s. They say, buy some F-16s, we'll buy your M9 Beretta. Which, of course, the guy on the ground has to pay the price for that. You know, one guy, I mean, one colonel once told me, so, well, Sergeant, you know, war's never been won by a pistol. I said, sir, you're absolutely right. But for that one guy that survived that firefight with the 1911 versus M9, to his family, that was very fucking important. Yep. Okay? So, the FNFAL should have been what the M14 was. Had it become what the M14 was to the U.S. and the rest of NATO, the M16, we would not have AR-15s to this day because nothing would have surpassed the evolution of the FNFAL, especially the FNFAL parachute model, 18.5-inch barrel, folded stock. Oh my gosh. What could have come out of that? Free floating barrel, rail systems. I mean, you name it. That is one of the baddest rifles on the planet today. And I speak not only from my experience and the history of firearms in the U.S. military, but also having served in Africa and served with forces that carried the FNFAL. And I've seen guys go against poachers, against rebels. I've seen them go against lions with an FNFAL. Nobody said, hey, you need a 416 rig because there's some lions out here. They go kill the lion. They grab the FAL and they go out and kill the lion. Nobody talked about, I need this big caliber. That is a kick-ass system to this day.
I agree.
Guys, we actually
it's not
just
modern.
filmed. We actually just filmed with the FN. It was the FAL, wasn't it?
What? No. That was a Galil.
Oh, I'm sorry, Galil. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Different 5.56. No, that one was 7.62 by 39.
Yeah.
So I don't know a fraction of what Steve knows about this stuff, but I do have some experience with FALs. I think FALs are awesome. I think it's a tremendous platform. It's reasonably comfortable. It's a little bit front heavy, okay, but it's a very narrow gun, which has distinct advantages. I think it's old school, which I love. It's longer. Carl's messing with a laser pointer, in case you were curious. But as a civilian, to have an FNFAL, I would have one concern as a reloader, okay? And that is, every case you fire through that rifle is no longer reloadable. No. So you should know that, right? Because it dings the side on extraction. So
it's very
ejection,
similar,
not extraction.
It's very similar to the, there was another 7.62 rifle out there that on extraction and ejection, it
dings it.
It had a fluted chamber kind of on the way out, and but of course,
like a POF.
Yeah. It was one of the but see, that's an American thing. Because the rest of the countries out there,
they don't. Nobody reloads.
Nobody reloads. But,
that's why I was saying, as a American civilian consideration, that's one thing. I think it's not, compared to an AR, I don't think they're terribly comfortable, right? They're not very adjustable. They're long. It's also, but it's a 308.
Oh yeah, but when you think about it though, when you say compare to an AR, you can't compare it to an AR because you're talking about a different platform.
No, I'm saying AR-10, for example, right?
You went to the AR-10, but if you realize the AR-10 came through an evolution over almost 50 years. If you give the FNFAL the technology and the brain wizardry of American designers to play with it for 50 years, the way we played with the AR for 50 years,
it would be a whole different animal.
It would be a whole different animal.
Yep.
I mean, it would be. I mean, because it's already a piston-driven gun.
Suffering Succotash asked again if Emery got his new truck yet, and he has not got his new truck yet.
Working on it.
Axe Kicker, 3 on 5 bones. What's the process of flying with firearms? I assume there's a special procedure for a check-in.
First of all, hold on. Flying domestic, right?
Yeah.
Because flying international is a whole other can of worms.
Oh.
We fly, well,
would you even try to fly international?
To certain places, yeah, but
and
it depends with what weapons,
yeah,
right?
Africa,
whatever. You can even fly to Europe if you're going to competition or whatever, but paperwork, let's assume you're talking, and correct us if not, let's assume you're talking domestic. Okay, here's your deal. You go to the airport, first and foremost, and it depends on the airline, you have to have a...
Emory.
What?
Let me interject. Let me stop you right here, brother.
Do it.
Go online to the FAA, type in flying domestically with the firearm.
They don't want to read. They want us to tell them.
Because
Guys, it's not hard to fly with a
Emory,
gun.
what
It's
you
super
speak
easy.
now,
Maybe different next week.
Yeah.
no, it may be different tomorrow morning.
Right. Yeah,
Right?
I get it.
So
here's the basic
direct them
procedure.
to
Right? You're,
the proper.
You're right.
Agency.
You're right. You're right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Read the actual rules and regs.
Because
okay?
when he gets arrested, he's gonna say Emory Morgenstern told me,
Yeah.
and he plays the video back, and he's gonna show you telling them this is what you should do.
Steve,
So leave it alone.
That's okay,
you're
though.
right.
That's
You're right.
okay.
Leave it alone.
Like, honestly,
You're saying
like,
donate. Okay.
technically,
Roger.
these guys are both correct. All right. Do your homework before you go, because it actually varies by airline, not legally, but as far as ass pain. But the reality is, it is not hard to fly with a gun. You have to have a lock case.
Domestically.
You can't have domestically. You can't have more than 10 pounds of ammo. And again, this varies by airline, but
And most of them don't.
Yeah, TSA standard.
Ammo's got to be in separate boxes. It can't be loose packs.
Cannot be loose rounds.
I've gotten in trouble
But
for it.
That makes
gotta be
sense
Oreo
because
pack.
primers hitting tips of bullets hitting primers. You understand that could be bad in a pressurized airplane.
Now, if you're asking for
Dot
personal
approved
experience,
boxes.
experience, not just like what the
It ain't
regulations
hard.
are, because I will direct you to the website. Personal experience. Anytime I fly, I try to fly Southwest if they're going where I'm going.
Yep.
I don't
Southwest.
ever fly Delta.
By the way,
Delta has screwed me so many times.
Yep.
I've had the agents at the desk be so helpful. And the moment I say, by the way, I'm checking a firearm. Oh my God, he's got a gun. I mean, like, oh my God, give me a break. We were flying on a mission once, going somewhere, and I told the lady, I said, look, we need to bring these behind the counter and then show you that, they're unloaded and all this other stuff. And it was 15 of us traveling. So keep in mind what we're carrying.
Yep.
Okay? So you got M4s, Mark 12 SPRs, M9s, some guys had 19, and all these different Pelican cases. I mean, you could tell 15 guys walk up with all these Pelican cases, right? And all she had to do, the rest of them had to do, and I asked for the supervisor, was bring us behind the counter, and we open them up and show them. Not only did they not bring us behind the counter, they came from behind the counter and started picking up the guns to check to see if they were safe. And I said, lady, stop. Stop what you're doing. You're not trained. I said, what firearm is that? If she'd have said that's an M9 Beretta, I would have said, okay, go ahead. She said, well, it's a pistol. I said, okay, what kind of pistol? A revolver, semi-automatic? She said, well, I'm not sure. I said, stop what you're doing right now. And once they open up all the cases, every customer at the National International Airport was like, oh my God! They started like backing up to the police. I was like, just stop.
Steve had
Guys,
a bad
hold on a
experience
second.
at Delta.
several.
right.
Several.
Let me give you guys one tip, okay? This is going like above and beyond the law, okay? One tip that I do every time I fly with guns, right? I have my case that's FAA approved or TSA approved.
TSA lock.
With the locks, blah, blah,
TSA
blah.
lock.
Yeah,
TSA
TSA
lock.
lock. You don't have to have a TSA
No,
lock.
I don't
but
do
they
TSA.
prefer
I don't do
it.
TSA lock.
Whatever.
I do not. I do my own lock.
But here's my tip. Here's my tip, guys.
Fuck 'em. They can make
Your
me
case
unlock
is
my
locked.
shit.
I lock it with multiple locks, not just one. But when you open the case at the airport, because you have to once you declare it, right? You'll open the case, you'll show them what's there, blah blah blah, right? I got knives, I got guns, all the stuff I need for my work. So what I do, when you buy a pistol at a store and you bring it home, what's the first thing you throw away? That stupid lock. Right? That stupid little blue or orange
cable
lock.
lock.
Yeah.
Cable
Cable
lock.
lock.
So I've kept a couple. And what I do, that's the only use that I have for them. Because at home it sits in a safe, right? I don't need a stupid lock on my gun when it's sitting in the safe. But I'll put, through both my pistol and my rifle or whatever is in there, I will put another cable lock through them so they open the case and they see they're locked inside of the case. And automatically, it puts them more at ease. They're like, right?
I'll agree with that.
It's not part of the rules and regs. It's a good thing.
You understand?
For you to
Nobody
do.
cares, dude. What they care about is Jonathan Camps just asked for $1.99. Steve, is that a new bandolier pouch? Let's get the important shit.
This is a new bandolier pouch, and because the last one I had, the Flat Dark Earth Desert one, this is just a pouch. It's just a pouch. There's like, you know, I wear the shotgun bandolier because every time I even begin to mention shotgun, Carl goes, "This is a tactical rifleman show." So I just wear shotgun shells because you guys know when I talk about number 4s, number 5 turkey loads versus the so-called buckshot, 9-shot, double-aught buck defense loads, that in my opinion, and some ballistic experts' opinion, number 4s and number 5s are better, and 20 gauge is a lot better, in my opinion, than 12 gauge. But I will speak about that on a tactical rifleman show. So I just carry my shotgun shells so you can
Everywhere.
see. No, when I come on the show. Because as Carl says, it's a tactical rifle show. Now, back to the TSA thing. Here's one of the little tricks I came up with. When you go in, they're going to give you this card to fill out. Okay? They're going to say, "Oh, you need to fill out this card." So I had one person. Oh, it's going to take 25 minutes. You're going to finish. You're going to miss your flight. I'm like, I fill out the card. She said, "Okay, we need to put the card on the case, and we need to find some tape." I said, "No, ma'am. I have a Ziploc bag on all of my weapons cases that I travel with. A Ziploc bag, not the little push one, but the one with the tab. Okay, it's taped with clear tape across the top of my weapons cases." The moment she said, "We need some tape to put this card," I said, "No, you don't. Give me the card." I open the Ziploc bag, I put it in there, and zip it back. They go, "Oh, you were prepared for our bullshit." So that's a little trick you can add to your travels is tape a Ziploc bag on top of your case because they're going to want you to have that card on top of the case. And then they want to tape it and go through all this whole thing trying to look for tape. I mean, it just blew me. Me and Sean Arena missed a flight from hell to hell one time because they said, "Oh, they got firearms. It's going to take an hour." I said, "Why is it going to take an hour? Watch this. Boom, 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 boom. We're done." They still held us up. And the lady at the gate, she said, "You need to take a seat." I said, "Ma'am, we're on this flight. You need to take a seat." So when they closed the door, I said, "Sean, we're going to miss this flight." When I saw the plane backing away, I said, "Yeah, we're going to miss this flight." So when the guy came up, I said, "Can I see your supervisor?" She said, "Yeah." I said, "Why the fuck did we miss this flight?" You know, they said, "Oh, they were on standby." I said, "No, lady, we gave you our tickets." And they flipped through the tickets and everything. They go like, "Oh, shit. Oh, shit. You had a seat reserved." Duh. All because we declared a firearm.
Monkeys.
What airport was it?
Nashville.
Nashville?
Yeah. Delta.
Yeah, different airports too. It's
Different
airlines and
You
different
go
airports.
to Delta?
Southwest.
You go to Southwest?
Hey. We're done with fucking airport stories. You fucking monkeys.
Okay.
Yeah, every airport and every airline in different airports is going to be different.
Yeah.
Go an hour early and get your own stories like Steve has, because you will. Most airports will be perfectly fine. And then 1 out of 10 times, you're going to get a story like Steve is. And then 10 times later, you'll get another story like Steve has. And you develop these stories. We're done. We're done.
Keep them to adult.
I'm not going to talk about Vegas at a 6.8. The TSA guy yelling, "We got one!"
All right.
We got
hey,
one.
Carl, Steve Emery, what are your thoughts on the Criffs and SIF teams getting disbanded a couple years ago? Is this for the best in the long run for SF?
The Army always knows what's best.
Yeah, the Army always knows what's best. They've actually been renamed, and honest, don't worry about it, guys. Let USCCA decide what they want to do. We're not there anymore. Susan Britchers, show us the passport photo. How about no?
Yeah.
I can't. It's got my numbers and everything. I can't do
throw
that.
something in there on the whole Army thing, okay? USCCA's budget, annual budget, which we fight for every year.
Time.
Yeah, but I want to reiterate that after Independence Day. We fight every year for everything we have. Special Forces, Rangers, Combat Air Force Combat Tax, the SEALs, the bolts, the MH-47s, everything, ammunition, SIF, Sephardic, everything. $13.1 billion. We fight every freaking year for $13.1 billion. They just gave Ukraine $40 billion. It ain't even the size of Texas. Come on. Think about that. Go to sleep with that on your mind tonight. Oh.
I hope you don't have dreams of Steve, man. I'd wake up shaking.
Sherry Champagne, can we add a signed shotgun shell by Steve Holland? No. We cannot ship ammo, you fucking nutbag. Marcos Quintana.
20 gauge and 12 gauge.
$2. Steve, what you carry? Emery and Carl. Steve does not carry Emery and Carl. All right.
So what you're saying is this one's bigger than this one?
This one requires a football mouthpiece.
It's so veiny.
This one doesn't.
All right, the winner of this beautiful knife right here is David Doust. David Dost. D-O-S-T. David Dost. You are the winner. You are the winner. Congratulations.
Congratulations, David.
That's why we didn't go to. That's why we didn't go to 9:30. By the way,
I was trying to sneak my way in there.
Why I said 9:15 because I knew we were going to ramble like motherfuckers. All right, David Dost. Congratulations. Here's what I need you to do, David. I need you to take a picture of your avatar. Showing that you are actually David Dost and that you're not Ray Craddock trying to steal someone else's shit.
Why do you always say Ray is stealing?
Because it's always Ray Craddock. However, everybody else's shit. Ray's a great guy.
Ray Craddock already has one.
There you go. All right. So
I'm just
David Dost.
But Ray already has one.
He bought it.
David Dost. Take a picture of your avatar. And then email it to tacticalrifleman1@gmail.com. Hey, Steve, where do they need to email it to?
They email it to
tacticalrifleman1@gmail.com. Thank you, Steve.
You're welcome.
Thank you. All right, so congratulations to David Dost.
Nice.
Oh, excuse me,
David
Dost.
David, call me. If the box shows up empty, call me. Don't take it personal. I got to figure out a way to get it on my thing here, so I can be like Emery and cut myself.
Now it's a winner. Oh shit!
How did Rambo do it?
Marcos Quintana wants to know what Steve carries. What is your EDC, Steve?
What is your EDC pistol, Steve?
It might not be a pistol. He might carry a shotgun. He might not carry a gun.
I was about to say,
guys,
this thing is sharp.
Don't let children carry this knife.
You got to put the handle in.
I got this. Back off.
No, but you
Back
don't.
off.
That's the whole thing.
Don't you touch my knife.
Number one, I don't discuss my EDC because I don't know who you are.
Exactly.
And you might say, okay, if he's got this right here, my body armor needs to be rated to this. So, you never know. Never know.
So you carry a 50 cal.
50. It might be.
We know who your friends
are. It might be a 7.5 FK Burno.
That I'm not gonna lie. I've carried it. I carried that 7.5 on occasion.
It might be
a lever action 410. What's that thing called? The axe, the Henry axe. I love that thing.
Bear.
I just can't. I can't feed it ammo. I can't find 410. All right, guys. Here's the deal. We have finally caught up on all of our questions. So before you guys start throwing down more Shiite Muslim, we are going to. What? Shut off.
My phone's going nuts.
Oh, you know what? Speaking of my bag, before you close off,
is that Steve? Is that a
tactical
haversack?
diaper bag? No, it's his tactical diaper bag.
Tactical diaper
so it's
bag.
a haversack.
Haversack. Yep.
No, this is Dana, and I know Dana's probably watching.
What?
My wife is watching.
Why would she watch?
My wife is watching.
Anyway, real quick before we shut down, Miss Dana and Aunt Helen talked my wife into. She wanted you guys to have a copy of her book, so I bought a copy of her book.
That's your wife's book.
It's my wife's book.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Oh shit,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
See her picture's on the back.
Yeah, pictures on the back. So
Wow.
my wife, as beautiful as she is, and wonderful as she is, was a youth mentor, okay,
Okay.
for about 5 years at a park in South Central LA.
No shit.
Gangland.
Gangland.
Bangland. And she can tell you some crazy stories. Because similar to, and God bless everybody in Illinois during the shooting yesterday, she's been in a couple of shootings, and the kids had to say, those aren't fireworks. Run. So I was talking to her about a book, and I said, I think that Dana and Aunt Helen would love to have a
that's
copy of the book.
Yeah.
So I have bought two copies of a book. One is signed to Ms. Dana, and one is signed over to Aunt Helen.
Well, that's awesome.
So
Steve.
before we shut off, I wanted to let them know. I know they're watching.
Well, damn it, Steve.
Just
Now
like
I
that-
got to teach them how to read?
No, try.
I'm not going to go there, man.
No,
I'm not going to go there.
Don't go there.
So I'm going to hand them
Well,
off
that's
the call.
awesome.
I'm gonna
That's
hand them off the
awesome.
call.
Guys, but now you got to have your wife up the grill on
What about
Sunday.
me?
Oh, yeah.
What do I get?
Absolutely.
How about a Rec 7?
You get to give me
I've been
a-
asking you for a Rec 7
you-
forever.
You, get
You,
to, you, get
you
to
haven't
give,
given him that knife yet.
Yeah.
I just told...
you get to give me a call. And, you know,
This is
it's
awesome.
one of those things where when you think about the history of things, and I remember we were talking about the things that she experienced in South Central LA, and a couple of times I was out there doing some work with Fire Defense, and we were leaving the area where we were building all these vehicles for SOCOM, and we would drive not even 2 blocks from the area, and we were at the gas station. One of the guys said, "Hey man, get gas and let's go." I said, "Well, I want to go in the store and grab this," and he goes, "Man, this is South Central LA, you know, this is South Central LA." I said, "We're just 2 blocks from the factory." He goes,
Yeah, y'all want to see that's Steve's better half right there. Much better.
Like way
half.
better.
Much better. Now, I bless that woman because she is awesome. She is really
absolutely
great. She's got a great
awesome.
personality.
Hey, look what
she has
she did
incredibly
with-
bad taste in men. But other than that, Steve, you know I'm joking. You know I love you. You know
I
love you.
look at it as God's blessing.
God bless her.
I
God
needed
bless
someone
that
like
woman.
her.
Holy shit.
So I could do what I was doing for Fifth Group, because without her, I wouldn't be able to do what I was doing.
Yeah, this,
So
you guys, some of you have seen my wife's picture before. Some of you have not. I love my blushing bride. God bless her for sure. Emery would show you a picture of his blushing bride, but unfortunately,
Most of them are too smart.
The surgery,
but
transgender surgery isn't
Yeah.
finished yet.
So real quick, on another note, we'll talk about this in a later show. My wife's lineage. Okay, I want you guys to look this up. Her great grandfather's name is Junius Groves. She's a Groves Holland. Her great grandfather, and you look it up, is by Kansas and the rest of America. He was called the Potato King of America. Originally a slave, got his freedom, got his 40 acres, moved to Kansas, bought another 40 acres, and built almost 8,000 acres of the best potatoes ever grown in America, to the point where the railway put a spur line over to his farm. He had the first 18-hole golf course owned by a black man in the United States of America before the KKK burned it down.
Really?
Historically
How do you
true.
burn down a golf course?
No, they burned down his house.
I'm
I'm sorry.
joking.
Burned down his mansion, his house. All from potatoes. He was called the Potato King of America. Even the Irish would come over and say, "How do you split these potatoes to make them grow?" I forget. But anyway, her father was a triple nickel, which is a black parachute regiment, and those are some other stories. Her uncle was a Tuskegee Airman.
Oh, no
One of
shit,
the
really?
last World War II combat Tuskegee Airmen. He just died 4 years ago at 93.
Nice.
Awesome
Really?
man. Her lineage is just awesome with American patriotism. My wife is probably one of the biggest American patriot Trump supporters that I'm telling you. You want to have a conversation?
And she's
you
a
bring it
saint.
up with this woman.
We love her because
love
if it weren't for her, Steve would be here every day.
Steve would.
So, but I just wanted you guys to know that all the time I was doing what I was doing, she was handling business.
Yeah.
Okay?
Home six.
Yeah, handling business, taking care of everything. And she's still here today. She still supports me. I support her.
coffee right
and
there.
that's awesome, because that's what it takes to be one of the point people in the fight for the new America to make it great again and keep it great.
I got a question here for Steve. Just got a new shotgun. This is from Jeff Bowman.
Is that a Benelli M4?
What 12 gauge load does Steve like, slug or buck outside turkey season?
No, guys. I wasn't talking about turkey loads because of turkey season. I was talking about turkey loads
For human beings.
Personal defense and home defense. Okay? As always, as we spoke earlier on different aspects of things, questions you guys ask us, and we say, try it out. Try it yourself.
Try it yourself.
If you, and I love Benelli shotguns. I have an M1, I got an M3, and my favorite, of course, is I have a 20 gauge Remington 1187. I'm not selling Remington, but I like 20 gauge because it's lightweight, and the loads today have very close performance to what 12 gauge loads are. Take a look at number 4s and number 5 turkey loads, okay, versus buckshot, and just I sent you those videos where my son was shooting the Steel Gong at 25 yards, and we were shooting the number 4s. Then we switched over to the Black Cloud loads.
Yeah,
the titanium.
Ripped
My gosh!
apart.
That number, they're number 7s, number 7.5s, number 3s, number 4s, something like that.
I can't remember how big they are.
I mean, so long people have said buckshot. Look at the buckshot pattern now. 9 .33 caliber pellets at 25, 30, 40 yards, which if you shoot inside the house, you're not going to have that distance anyway, not unless you're running Barrett. You're going something like that.
Ronnie Barrett's got a
40-yard hallway.
Yeah, he built the Barrett for indoor in his house.
Yeah. So you look at that, and just get some buckshot. What you think is good buckshot, and this is some decent buckshot right here. I got some number 9s running some buckshot right here, right? You can see accuracy. I'm in there. Mm-hmm. So the run that load at what you think is your distance. You know, hey, I need to shoot from my front door to the patio. I need to shoot from the patio to the driveway. Set that distance out on a proper range, a safe range, and then set your targets up and shoot that distance with some number 9 buckshot, and then run some number 4s and number 5s, and see what your result is. I always say, just don't go with what I believe works for me. Just test. Run some loads, different loads, and for you guys who don't want to deal with the recoil from buckshot number 9, I'm gonna tell you, number 4s and number 5s are stiff, but they're designed to hit a turkey-sized head at 30 and 40 yards, guys. That's hard to beat. That's really hard to beat.
We are going to wrap this up tonight. Emery is lighting the smoking candle. It's not. It's actually Carl's cookies made by Annalise. You can go to 2A Candles, or you can go to look up Kentucky Fried Korean on Instagram. No, seriously, heart attack.
I have
Kentucky
a flavor
Fried
there
Korean.
too.
But yeah, she actually made me my own flavor. It's blueberry chocolate chip cookies.
Dude, these smell awesome.
So you
smells good.
You continue to get all the things you want, but I don't get any Addie's wine.
Steve, you start doing YouTube channel videos for me, and your life will improve. All right, guys, we're going to wrap this up tonight. Real quick, though, I want to give a big shout out to our sponsor again, USCCA. Become the prepared protector that you need to be with a USCCA membership. All right, and we'll see you guys next week. And Steve, always a pleasure. And Emery, thanks for hanging out. We had a great 4th of July. I was planning on telling you guys all about it tonight, and then we started doing this.
I'll put some stuff up on stuff and things.
We had a good time. We did. We had a good time indeed. So again, thanks to my moderators. You guys are awesome. You guys know you're awesome. And
God bless, be safe.
Yeah, without a doubt. You guys
love you guys.
Freaking awesome. Steve, last words?
God bless America.
God bless
be
America.
Safe.
Emery?
Right. Stay safe.
That's right. Yeah, no,
just make it great again.
Make our country
make
awesome
it great again.
Y'all take care, guys.